My boyfriend bought me a puppy I never wanted, so I said no.
What are you, a monster?
For context, I, 27 female, have always had pet dogs, cats, even birds that fell from their nests. I also rescued and rehomed tons of animals, but I've never kept a male pet. My mom didn't like them because of the whole peeing everywhere thing.
Wow.
But I guess I just got used to only having girl pets. Plus, I love using my dogs like pillows, and I'll admit the doggy boy parts that are always a little too present make me uncomfortable. By the way, this comes from Cicada Supremacy, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley, man.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation. But if you would do anything differently, then let us know in the comments. OP says, anyway, I've had my dog, let's call her Luna, since I was 17. She's my baby, and she 100% rules my life. She's not really friendly with kids, other dogs, or most men, but she at least kind of likes my boyfriend, 31 male of 2 years. So my birthday was a couple weeks ago. My boyfriend told me that he had a surprise, but it wasn't ready yet. Last Friday, I came home from work and found him in my apartment with a 2-month-old German Shepherd male puppy that he bought, complete with a balloon tied to its collar that said, "Happy birthday." He smiled and said, "Do you like him? He's our new son." Oh, so cute. I was shocked. The only words that came out were, "Where's Luna?" He had locked my dog in the bathroom because she growled at the puppy. I was furious. We argued for about 2 hours. I told him to take the puppy back with him and not to come back. He yelled some more and called me a misinterest because apparently not wanting male pets equals hating men. He also said that I was weird for being uncomfortable around dog peepees.
They are always peepees out.
They really are. When I told my friends and family, everyone sided with me. However, my boyfriend kept sending me videos of the puppy, saying that he didn't know what to do with it since his apartment doesn't allow pets, especially one that would grow so much, and begging me to take it just until he finds accommodations. He said I owed him because he spent so much money on the puppy and was planning for it to live with me anyway. I don't know if that means that you owe it to him.
Yeah.
I feel like OP should probably just do that. I don't think it's a big deal to not just do that. If it's not a dog that you're attached to, you don't have to lay on it and use it as a pillow.
Yeah, that's not what dogs are for.
OP is like, that's the only reason I get dogs.
Right, they're just pillows.
Do you know how expensive pillows are these days?
Yeah,
They're
cat
freaking
pillows,
expensive.
not comfortable.
Heated pillows, always breaking. Dog,
Yeah.
built-in heater.
Built-in heater. Its breath will kind of rock you to sleep in a way.
Gross.
Breathing stomach.
Gross. Now
It's
I
not
thought
gross.
of dog breath.
Okay,
Dog
well,
breath in my
dog breath
face.
is gross. But I don't want the puppy. My current dog definitely wouldn't accept him, and in the videos, I can already see how destructive he's becoming. On the other hand, the poor puppy is innocent in all of this. Should I just suck it up and keep him with me until my boyfriend, who technically didn't break up yet, finds somewhere else to take him? Also, the puppy represents everything I don't want in a pet. I feel like he's just bought himself a dog, but didn't really want to take care of it, so he acted like the puppy was my birthday present. So am I the a-hole for refusing to accept the puppy? Should I just take him in for a while? And there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, that was not a birthday present for you. That was a gift for himself. He gets you an expensive, high energy, need to train and socialize puppy and thinks he should get to peace out because it can't live with me. So he gets all the fun playing with the puppy he wants and sticks you with all the bills, the care, your elderly dog. I couldn't care less about your opinions on animal genitalia, but you spend more time talking about that than the fact that he locked your elderly dog away in her own home without you there and called it a gift. How much do you...
Oh, boo-hoo. The dog was in another room, right?
The dog was in another room.
I wouldn't call that locking away your elderly dog.
Well, I
It's
mean,
just in a different room. For how long?
I don't know.
Hours.
That's a good question. We don't know.
Eternity, because it's for an unknown amount of time. Eternity.
I think if you had left the dog outside in the cold, the rain,
In a box.
if you had gone out of your way to, like, not, I don't know. That just seems like extra.
Yeah.
Be like, and you put the dog in a room?
Well,
Hey, put a dog in the room.
honestly, I do wonder, like, if the elderly dog, like, just growled at the puppy and there wasn't any sort of, like, attempt to kind of make the dog feel better about it. That is an important thing that
Oh.
you pay attention to when you get a new dog, you want to make sure that the other dogs aren't gonna, like, right? Like, you want to make sure that they're gonna get along. But
Also, you're bad at training your dog, girl. I'm gonna say it. That's on you.
how much do you want a boyfriend that you think any of this is acceptable? Comment number 2 says, if he really wants to keep the puppy, he can get a new apartment. It would be a pain, but it is totally doable. He would just have to make it happen and then actually take care of the puppy. Comment number 3 says, I support adopt, don't shop. So I would be appalled if someone bought me a dog. OP says, it shocked me because I'm not the kind of people who would ever buy a dog. But when we were on our first few dates, I literally got out of the car and into a drain because I saw a little orange kitten. I cut our date short and took the kitten to the vet. He called me the next day to say that he was so moved by my love for animals, and that's literally how we became official. So it baffles me that he thought that this was okay. Or maybe he tried to use my love for animals against me. We do have an edit to clarify some things. Some people seem to think that I'm obsessed with dogs' genitalia, and LOL, I'm not. The issues with the puppy ranking are, I don't want another dog because I have a dog. I don't want to raise a puppy ever again. I don't want to own a dog that was bought. I don't like large breeds. I don't want a male dog because I prefer female dogs. The only reason I included that I don't like dogs' peepees is because I don't want that in my house. I don't lose sleep over it, but I prefer the smooth belly female dogs have. What I told my boyfriend was something along the lines of, you disregarded everything I believe in a pet to the extent that you even brought a male dog when I told you that it wasn't my intention to even own one. Then he called me weird and misinterest. That's the only reason that I included that part in my post. But in my attempt to keep everything short, I didn't include all that. And for the people telling me to grow up and say wiener, there it is. I wasn't sure if I was able to say that. My only knowledge...
Grow up and say no.
Which is actually really funny.
You said the medical one. That's the grown-up one.
Because we can't say that. So
yeah.
Wiener isn't actually the right word because we can't be adults on this channel.
P-E-N-I-N-I-S.
But she did say it in other places and we didn't block that out. My only knowledge of Reddit were videos on TikTok with bad gameplay of Subway Surfers in the background. So there's that. If you want me to clarify something else, please let me know. And one reason, but not the only reason, I don't particularly like male dogs is because my uncle had a male Rottweiler, very aggressive, and one time at my grandma's house, he jumped on me. I was like 5 or 6, and he tried to hump my face with his red rocket all out.
No!
Yes, it freaked me out.
Not the paninas.
Not the paninas.
Ah.
Not the excited paninas.
So really, after all of that, you're like, it's your childhood trauma.
It's your
that
trauma.
You don't like male dogs.
That would have been a better clarification.
Yeah.
It was trauma.
You're traumatized.
Yeah.
That's traumatizing.
But
also, do you know why Rottweilers are so aggressive by nature?
Why?
They were bred to defend and pull meat sleds in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So if anyone came scrounging around trying to take the meat, they'd go and they'd rip them apart and then add them to the meat cart.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing though, is that female dogs will hump you too. They just won't have a red rocket in your face. That's all. That's the only thing. But the humping is a dominance thing. It's not
paninas.
But anyway, so my grandma had to get rid of the dog after that. She had a large property in another city, and that's where they took him because nobody wanted their kids near the dog. So there's the backstory. And we do have an update. I think we should just jump right in. So I didn't want to update before talking to both my therapist and psychiatrist. So here we go. First of all, the puppy is fine. The day after my original post, my neighbor texted me around 2 p.m. because she heard loud noises from my apartment. She has a spare key. She and Luna are besties and often go on walks when she works from home. So she offered to check. Turns out the puppy was inside and Luna was just sitting on the couch glaring at the puppy like she was personally offended. I told my boss that I had a family emergency and rushed home. My neighbor had been entertaining the puppy, but my apartment was trashed. She agreed to take the puppy for a few hours while I cleaned. I realized a lot of the mess didn't look like it was from the puppy. Some of the papers seemed sheared and not a single tooth mark. I went to building management and they showed me camera footage. My ex-boyfriend walking in with the puppy, staying 20 minutes and leaving. I had them remove him from the visitor list and they even offered to change my locks. I panicked a little and called my mom, who told me to either call my godfather or find a local shelter. My godfather said that he'll call his friends, many of whom have large breed experience. Meanwhile, my neighbor brought the puppy back, tired from the park. I'll admit he was adorable. A few hours later, my godfather called to say one of his friends, a German Shepherd lover with 2 already, wanted to adopt him. This is great. We're finding a place for him.
Like, yeah, that's getting the dog adopted by someone else, not an issue.
Not an issue.
Just, no need to stress about that
Happened easy
at
peasy.
all.
Puppy's name is Kai now, and apparently my godfather's friend has tons of experience training big breeds. As for my ex, I decided to call his mom because I still had him blocked. If you guessed that he was jealous of Luna, you'd be correct. He wanted to move in with me. He thought Luna wasn't manly enough, and that a German Shepherd would make me see reason. His plan was basically I'd find 2 dogs too much work, and I would get over my obsession with Luna, that's in quotes, by leaving her with my mom. Yes, really. His own mom told him that she was disappointed and that she didn't raise him to be sneaky and selfish. Good on that mom.
It's also like the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah.
That she would be like, okay, the brand new dog is the dog I will now take care of instead of the one I've had forever.
Yeah, seniority counts when you're thinking about which dog you got to get rid of.
Yeah.
The one you've had for longer,
Come on, dog.
that's going to be the one that stays. Okay. I told him that we were done and that Kai had already been rehomed to a loving family. He tried to get mad about me rehoming his dog, but his mom reminded him that the puppy was a gift and I could do whatever I wanted with him. I hugged her goodbye and haven't spoken to him since. By the way, you could always speak to us in the comments section of full episodes with more stories just like this one. Go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime. You can speak with us. We can pretend to speak to you, but it's not quite the same, but you can pretend.
Well, I'll do it right now. No way, that's crazy.
Oh my gosh. That's such a good point that you made.
Whoa.
Great job.
Whoa, you should not tell that to anybody. You need to keep that very close to the vest. Maybe talk to a lawyer.
But we do have a little bit more into the story, but yeah, good riddance. He definitely is red-pilled if he's thinking that whatever dog she has, I don't remember the breed, is not manly enough, and a German Shepherd would be better.
Yeah, that dog's not manly enough.
It's not manly enough.
I want the dog associated with the worst guy ever. Yeah.
We do have more to the story. I also talked this through with both my therapist and psychiatrist. I talked to them about the whole situation, and both agreed separately that having preferences is not wrong. As long as I'm not harming animals because of their gender, then there's nothing wrong with not wanting them. Right now, I'm at my mom's house with Luna, using some PTO to rest and recover. This whole thing was exhausting, but at least it ended with Kai in a good home and one less toxic boyfriend in my life. There is an edit to clarify. I called my ex's mom and told her a summary of what happened. She told me that she was going to call him and tell him to come see her the next day, and then she'd let me know when he was with her so we could talk. After our discussion, I hugged her goodbye and left. And that's the end of that story.
My sister's boyfriend laughed about tricking her into eating meat their entire relationship.
Oh my goodness.
I, 25 female, volunteered to cook the Christmas dinner for my family yesterday. My parents are getting older, so I would feel guilty sitting back whilst they did all the work. Also, we have the added complication of my partner, 32 male, being celiac. I'm used to cooking for us both and making sure everything is safe and gluten-free. Me and my family are also veggie/vegan. By the way, this comes from Hecate Plath. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, my sister, 20 female, and her boyfriend, 21 male, have been dating a few months. He doesn't have a great relationship with his family, so we invited him to join us for the holidays. We'd not met him before this. So a couple of days before Christmas, my sister rang me saying her boyfriend had been complaining about being forced to have meat/gluten-free dinner. I told her that he was more than welcome to bring something for himself and that I'd be happy to cook it for him, but asked if he could please not bring anything with gluten in it as it could make my partner really ill. Anyway, cut to yesterday, and I cooked the duck he brought first and leave it to rest. Pretty much the whole time, he was lurking over my shoulder, smirking, and making comments about how it must be weird to go back on my values. Shut up! Ugh, literally shut up.
This is like an evil villain right now.
Yeah, just like meat. You never see it before. You're gonna eat the meat that you have to make for me. Weird.
Yeah, very weird.
I told him that I didn't mind and that I used to cook some meat stuff for my partner before he went veggie, as long as he bought it with his own money. 10 minutes before I was about to plate up, the most stressful time, he comes back into the kitchen saying he's starving as the food's taking too long and wants to eat some of his duck. Obviously, I was a bit irritated as it was literally the worst timing, but said, okay. He was about to leave the room when I saw he'd put the duck in a small baguette. I asked where he'd got it from, and he said he'd brought it with him. I panicked and flew around the kitchen, cleaning up all the crumbs he made and throwing away any food that wasn't covered. I would immediately say, no, you have to throw that out.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like OP is saying, like, gluten-free. I feel like OP means, like, celiac. Like, there's, like, an actual, like, allergy here.
Right.
Not just intolerance.
It's way more serious than just like, oh, I'm just on a diet right now.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so stressed out and close to tears. My partner wasn't diagnosed with celiac disease until his late 20s, and his digestive system is in a bad way. His doctors have said the next gluten incident could put him in the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
Dang. With him possibly needing to have a stomach bag for the rest of his life.
Wow.
We finally sit down to dinner, and my family all thank me for cooking. My sister's boyfriend chimes in, saying that he helped cook. Well, I completely lost it. I told everyone that not only did he not help, he risked spiking my partner by bringing gluten into the kitchen. Everyone was horrified, especially my sister, who had no idea he'd brought the bread. He refused to apologize and said he didn't realize what the big deal was, which resulted in him getting chewed out by my mom and dad. He ate, excused himself, and holed up in my sister's room for the rest of the night. I feel like I might be the a-hole for blowing up at him in front of everyone, especially since he went home this morning telling my sister he didn't feel welcome here. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? And there's an update. But what do you think?
I feel like in situations like these, it's like, okay, sure. If you want to objectively look at this and how it's like, you want to be the bigger person always,
Yes.
maybe you could have brought it up in a nicer way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, it wasn't even like this was a mistake. Like, he knew what was going on, and he actively took steps to just go against that and take that risk for someone else's life.
Mm-hmm. And he was just kind of rude the whole time.
Yeah.
But we've got an update. There's some good and bad news. Good that he is now my sister's ex. Whoa.
What?
Based on a duck sandwich.
Wow.
They had a huge blowout over the phone not long after he left, where he admitted that he thinks dietary requirements are for attention seekers.
That is the funniest thing ever.
Oh my God.
That is so funny.
One of them was a full-on allergy.
Yeah.
You know, like one of them was vegetarian,
Yeah.
which is a choice, but one
Right.
of them was a full-on allergy.
He literally was diagnosed with a disease.
Yeah. He confessed he'd been secretly feeding my sister meat products, swapping fake meat nuggets for chicken, using meat stock instead of veggie, etc. Their whole relationship, and laughed that she'd not been vegetarian for the whole 5 months of their relationship. She's been veggie since birth. That's psychotic.
Oh my gosh.
Can you like arrest him for that?
I'm like speechless. I have so
Yeah.
many thoughts, but also no words at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, it truly, like, psychotic is a great word
Yeah.
for it, because it's truly like he's not even like trying to test her and be like, oh, well, I thought you didn't like me, and
Yeah.
like see if she noticed or something like that.
No.
Like, it's just the fact that you are secretly changing someone's life
Yeah.
for the first time in their whole life, just for the few months that you've been together. And like, why? For what?
I don't even know.
That's
Truly.
insane. Oh my God. Like, what else would he do? Like, if this is
Yeah.
something that he thought was so funny and chill, like, what else would he do in the relationship?
I'm terrified to find out. And
Yeah.
fortunately, we don't have to. We were all absolutely horrified, but so glad he showed his true colors early on in the relationship. By the way, show your true colors and listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Oh my God.
But I think, for the sister, fortunately, she didn't have any seemingly bad,
Yeah.
reactions
That's good.
to eating
That's good.
meat,
Mhm.
which is awesome because sometimes you can if you haven't had it for a long time.
Yeah.
And you didn't know, so I don't really feel like that is like breaking your, diet, or like your
Yeah.
preferred diet.
You could still say that you've
Yeah.
been vegetarian since
Yeah,
birth.
you were unintentionally not
Yeah.
vegetarian. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's been times that I have accidentally been given meat.
Mm.
And this doesn't make me, any less pescatarian because I was
Right.
accidentally fed meat. So
Yeah.
you're good if that was a worry. My sister is doing a lot better now, as it all transpired quite a few months ago. She was more angry than upset, and we've all banded round her. She's relieved to know the stomach problem she had at the time. So she was being affected.
Yeah.
We're most likely down to the unfamiliar foods being introduced into the diet rather than a medical problem. She was worried she might have early onset celiac after comparing her symptoms to my partner. She's had no digestive issues since they broke up, so go figure.
Wow.
For those asking why he isn't close to his family, well, it seems as though the a-hole doesn't fall far from the tree, as his parents sound pretty horrible, which is one of the reasons we all felt sorry for him initially. Anyway, thank you all so much again.
Wow.
Wow. So it seems like you actually saved your sister. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
yeah. Yikes. Terrifying.
That is literally like something is terribly wrong with his brain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Something is wrong.
My friend chose her boyfriend over me despite his awful behavior. No, my friend. No. Let's get into this. I, 23 female, went out to meet Madison, 22 female, a close friend of 6 years. She told me her boyfriend, 26 male, would join us around 3 p.m., but she hadn't mentioned it beforehand. That was fine, though, so we continued chatting until he arrived. I already knew he was a jokester, but I realized it even more as we talked. By the way, this comes from AnyTennis1549, and if you want to submit your own stories just like this, just go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Hi, I'm Matt.
I'm Dakota, and OP says...
Seeing that I talk a lot, he made a comment asking if I was a gypsy instead of Kurdish. At first, I didn't understand, but when I did, it upset me because it was clearly a discriminatory remark. I asked if he was being discriminatory, and he denied it. I persisted, and he denied it more, saying that his way of bullying people is a love language he uses only with close ones. I asked if he was doing with her, which he replied, I'm doing it more with her. I let it slide, saying I understood, but my feelings were hurt. As the conversation continued, he kept touching my friend's leg, which made me uncomfortable, but I didn't say anything. He also kept making jokes directed at me, which I didn't enjoy. Still, I didn't want to ruin the mood because my friend went through a tough breakup before meeting him, and now they're planning to marry. Later, we moved to a corner, and he got even worse. He was touching her even more, and while I'm usually talkative, I stayed quiet because I was already upset by the jokes. Due to my staring, I think he understood that I was uncomfortable. He said something about that I don't quite remember right now. It was probably like, maybe we shouldn't do it because your friend is staring. I said, it is okay, with a more serious tone since I was caught off guard and since he asked. I thought I would disrupt the mood if I said, yes, I'm uncomfortable.
So you're uncomfortable that they're just, physically, touching?
I think
It seems
it's
like a pretty low tolerance, not gonna lie.
Right. It depends on what their touching is like.
Yeah. Are they, touching, or are they, touching, you know?
Yeah, are they just, rubbing leg, holding hand, back scritchies?
Oh,
or,
God, they're rubbing leg at the public establishment.
Public displays of affection I cannot tolerate. Despite everything, I tried to keep the mood light, but then he made a joke about me selling water at traffic lights, calling me I can sell it, and I'm like a beaster. Of course, I got offended and asked what he meant. Even my friend asked him, what are you saying? He tried to cover it up, saying, if we gave you water, you could sell it at traffic lights, and people would even give you extra money because you're so persuasive. I sarcastically replied, you could have just said salesperson instead, and I laughed it off, but I was really upset. But I thought he probably couldn't articulate his thoughts, so he called me that. What pushed me over the edge was when they started whispering to each other about going to an empty house to have spicy sleep, basically. Even though they were trying to be quiet, it was obvious what they were talking about. I was already angry, and this made it worse. I felt like I didn't belong there. I understand that you two have spicy sleep drives, but they don't have to talk about it when I was there. When I asked what they were talking about, he said, nothing, which annoyed me more. I thought, well, then what's the point of me being here if they're going to talk quietly between each other?
Okay, but at the same time, brother, if they had told you, oh, we're talking about going to bang in an empty house, you would have been more upset.
Yeah.
So it's I understand. And also, the whole yeah, you could totally be selling water bottles at the traffic light. It's hey, what do you mean by that? Yeah, you just politely go, what do you mean? Can you explain that a little bit more? Until he goes,
Yeah.
I'm trying to imply that you'd be just like
Yeah.
a street person selling water bottles because it's demeaning in the context in which I'm presenting it. You go, oh, so you're trying to belittle me, not compliment me. Okay.
I like that approach to people because it doesn't give them any wiggle room. And you're not being confrontational.
No.
You're just trying to understand what the joke is.
Yeah.
I just really want to understand what the joke was. I want to know why it was funny.
What do you mean by
Please.
that?
I'm curious. I just legitimately want to know why.
I just don't understand.
Why you're equating me to selling water on the street.
Why couldn't I be selling, like, I don't know,
Just tell me.
houses? Could I be selling jet airplanes?
And why is it on the side of the street? Why can't I have a nice shop?
Yeah, why don't I have a bodega?
I got up, told my friends I was leaving since we had nothing left to talk about, hugged her, and walked out. Later, my friend texted me asking if I was angry. Oh, what would have given her that?
Yeah.
And I said, yes. When I explained, she said their conversation was not about me, and she told me I was right about the jokes. And what can she say? That her boyfriend was just being friendly with his jokes, and he made them because he saw me as a sincere person. I told her that they could have talked about whatever they wanted after I left. What I'm thinking is, am I the a-hole for taking these jokes seriously? I had problems with this during high school too. I couldn't even take it when someone would say idiot to me as a joke. So, am I perhaps taking myself too seriously and creating conflict out of nothing? There is an update. 8 months later.
Oh boy. Almost
This
a full
is,
baby.
Wow.
Almost full baby.
After the last event, my friend and I exchanged some messages. I told her everything I was upset about, and she mostly agreed. Then her boyfriend texted me. He apologized for everything in detail, didn't leave anything out, and explained everything clearly. I accepted his apology, and that was the end of it. After that, I honestly can't remember when my best friend and I saw each other again. She started spending every single day with her boyfriend. At first, I didn't care that much. I figured they were in the honeymoon phase. But I've never been the kind of person to ignore my friends while dating. When I was in a relationship, I made sure to keep it separate from my friendships. I would not even talk about it unless my best friend specifically asked, because she was single at the time, and hearing about relationships made her feel bad. I tried to be considerate, but in the end, I don't feel like I received the same in return.
Really quick, if we're feeling like it hurts to hear about our best friend being in a relationship now, we gotta be talking. We have to be clear about these things, about when we feel certain ways, about when we think certain ways. We have to tell them, or else how would they know?
Right. Communication is a two-way street.
Yes.
You're not giving them that leeway. How are they going to know what you're upset by?
Exactly.
Once, a few months ago, I asked her to meet up. She said no and explained that all the colors in her life were disappearing when she wasn't with her boyfriend. I told her to just reach out when she felt like meeting up, and she agreed, but she never wrote to me about meeting up again. We only texted a few more times after that. One time, she randomly messaged me about a girl we know from high school. I was kind of annoyed because it was so random and felt like she only texted me to gossip. I wasn't into it, and the conversation ended quickly. At that point, I stopped texting or reaching out. There was one time I initiated a conversation about meeting up during college exams. She agreed, but I never heard anything about it afterward. To be honest, I didn't even care anymore. After the exams, her sister reached out to ask if I wanted to hang out since one of her friends from another city was visiting. I went there expecting to see my best friend too, but she wasn't there. Her sister, her cousins, and her friend were all there, but not her. I later found out that she hadn't been seeing them either. One of the cousins mentioned that things had been tense at their house because my best friend had a fight with her sister. Apparently, it was about the same issue. Her sister felt ignored. So basically, it's not just me. Everyone in her life has experienced the same thing. It's like she can't see anything outside of her boyfriend. 2 weeks ago, she messaged me again. But by that point, I hadn't reached out in a long time because I just didn't want to. I resented her. That conversation ended quickly too. Then today, I saw a TikTok she posted that said, "Some girls' best friends are their boyfriends." And honestly, that hurt. I was her best friend. We used to be so close. We talked about her wedding, how I'd be there as her witness, how her future kids would call me aunt, and how I'd bring them gifts. Now, all of that feels shallow. There was a moment I was so pissed off that I wanted to just end it all. But then I thought about my relationship with her sister and cousin. If I cut ties with her completely, my relationship with them would probably fade too. And right now I don't want that. I'm actually closer to them. We send each other videos every day. I know this friendship will end eventually, but I don't know if I should do it now just to preserve my bond with her sister and cousin. Now let me be honest, I didn't try to save this friendship. Having open conversations about things that made us upset about our friendship was always encouraged, but I didn't do it this time. The reason is that I didn't want to beg for her time and affection. She is already not giving me any, and I didn't want it to be forced. When she texted me like last time, I didn't return it. I was kind of done with everything. I'm still not writing, and if she decided to text me now, I would literally feel nervous and wish that she didn't write me at all. So, Reddit and OK Storytime. What do you think? Am I the a-hole? What should I do? And what would you do if you were in my shoes? There's some comments.
Okay, buddy. You kind of are. I would say you're at a coin flip right now. You're like in both lanes. You can't be in both lanes. You can't be like, well, I wish that she would actually prioritize our friendship and like reach out to me. But then also, I don't really care to ever respond to anything she says. And I don't care to maintain the friendship at this point either, because it feels like I'm begging. But the
Right.
reality is like, clearly you're in college. She's got a boyfriend. And those are already two big things to manage. I think it's crazy that people like, you know, it's like the notion that like you just have one best friend. It's like you can have multiples. It's like your partner
Right,
can be your
right.
best friend. You can have more than just one best friend. But, you know, clearly this is something not just OP is dealing with. Like her sister's also like, hey, where have you gone?
Yeah.
And sometimes people need to be told that, like, hey, I feel like we haven't like talked at all. And then they would go, oh, I need to put more effort into this.
I think OP can like still maintain a friendship with the sister and the cousin, even if OP isn't friends with
Yeah,
the
that's a
sister.
good point. I was going to say that.
'Cause,
That
like,
is so true.
If the sister's also not talking to them, they're all in the same
Right.
boat. They can be friends
Yeah,
without her.
Your friendship with these other relatives of your ex-best friend, I guess at this point, aren't dependent entirely on y'all being friends, clearly.
All right, let's get into the comments. Comment 1. Unfortunately, your friend is on the rebound from her previous breakup and is apparently willing to put up with this low life just to satisfy her need for attention or a distraction. You are right not to lower your own standards for her or anyone else. Distance yourself from her till she dumps this loser. Harsh but fair. Comment 2. Not the a-hole. What he did from the start was make his goal to make you uncomfortable for fun. She chose real low for a rebound. She put rose-colored glasses on. Until they come off, this will be an endless circle. I agree. Unfortunately, but I disagree that this is all that we are getting from this story because that's it. There's
That
no
is
update.
the end of that story.
My wife's ex reached out to her, and she unfortunately engaged back.
Well, put a stop to that.
Trigger warning for this one, mentions of abuse. I, 43 male, have been married to my wife, 41 female, for 15 years and known her for 17. For the most part, we've been happy and gotten along well. For context, in the first couple years of marriage, she realized she had a drinking problem and joined a recovery program. She's been booze-free since then. She also suffered depression after our second child's birth, but worked through that. By the way, this comes from user possibleserve3698. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Matt,
I'm Sophia.
and we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, and let's tell you what we would do. But if you would like to tell us what you do in the comments, please feel free to do so. We like reading comments. Sophie says, well, before we got together, she dated a guy and it ended badly. They seemed to message occasionally. From what she told me, the relationship became harmful with aggressiveness, jealousy, manipulation, and his unwillingness to let go. Last week was her birthday, and the ex-boyfriend messaged her. He usually does, to wish her happy birthday. She says she doesn't usually engage with him, but this time she did. She explained how the end of their relationship ruined her university experience. He apologized, and apparently they cleared the air. They messaged for 4 days before she told me they had been talking and wanted to be friends. So he lives in another part of the country, but now likes every post she puts up on social media. She's saying the relationship wasn't so bad and hopes they can be friends. I'm skeptical about him wanting just friendship, but she insists this isn't the case since he's married. Hasn't stopped a lot of people. He wanted to meet up before his wedding 19 years ago, before I was on the scene, but she refused. Over the years, she's expressed deep emotions about that relationship, dreams about it, talking about it to her therapist, discussing it extensively when wasted and even when sober. I understand this was traumatic for her, but it's been 20 years. It makes me feel like an outsider in my own marriage if she was carrying feelings this intense for so long. And now I'm expected to behave as if it was a great relationship. I have low self-esteem and feelings of not being good enough in aspects of my life, and this situation hasn't helped. I'm in therapy for this, but I really feel trust is damaged. I've had long-term relationships that ended badly, but I've moved on and don't talk about them unless asked. We have 2 kids, so I don't want to end it. I also love her and want to be with her, but I'm not sure how to process this. At the moment, I can't even speak to her, but I need advice on dealing with the situation. And there are a couple comments. So comment number 1. This isn't a normal friendship, or else she wouldn't have hid her messages for 4 days. There are feelings involved which will develop quickly unless you do something about it. Tell her how you feel, how this relationship has been a shadow for such a long time. Specify that it's nice that they buried the hatchet, that they got closure, that because of the history it'll make you feel very uncomfortable. Trust me, if she brought him up so much, this will only end badly for you. Comment 2. Your wife clearly has multiple mental health issues and with your low self-esteem. It plays as an enabling situation. It's time to put the big pants. It's either she recognizes that she's going too far into a new rabbit hole and cutting the ex off for good with the help of her therapist, or you need to show her consequences. If she is sane, she will cut the ex pronto. If not, you have your answer. It's the end, and it was on her, not you. OP replied, she has said she'll not speak to him again if that's what I want. I've said that's not my call to make, and I don't want to be put in that position. She has to make that call. Comment 3. Sounds like she has been talking to him for a long time. OP responds, I genuinely don't think she has been, but then I didn't think she had been for the past few days, so maybe you're right. Comment 4. There is only one way this ends, and it's poorly for you. She very clearly wants something from this person, and she's willing to disregard and disrespect you to get whatever that is. Your wife is also manipulative, trying to put ending whatever this is with him on you. Your wife needs to be made aware of how she's disregarding your feelings about this person and how disrespectful she is by trying to rekindle a friendship with someone that was legitimately awful to her 20 years in the past. If she cannot figure out how bad this situation is all on her own, your marriage has no hope to survive this. Clowns talking about insecurity and controlling behavior are farts in the wind. This is about your wife respecting her marriage and the bond she has with the man she supposedly loves. Rekindling this friendship should have never been considered in the first place. Clear the air and move on. Don't bring that baggage from the past into your life and your future. There is an update, but
yeah, I would
let's get
agree with
some
all those
thoughts on
comments.
this.
I think it's kind of unfair for her to put it on him and saying like,
Mhm.
well, if you don't want me to see him ever, that like I'll do that. And he's like, no, like you need to make a choice.
Yeah.
I'm not forcing you to do something. Like I don't want it to be like I'm saying you can't see him.
Right, like you're the spouse, you're not their parent.
Exactly.
You're an adult. You
Yeah.
can make your own executive decisions.
And
on
hopefully
this.
you're making decisions that are good for you and your partner that
Yeah.
would probably not be seeing this guy again.
I think part of
But,
it
yeah.
for her, like, not to say that she's mentally ill because we don't really have any context of that, I
Yeah.
don't think. But I think that there's a part of her maybe that because it was in a relationship maybe and because it ended so badly for her so many years ago and they were young, maybe
Mhm.
that's had a hold on her and she wants some sort of validation maybe from him.
I think also maybe just like wants closure from this
Yeah.
maybe. But this is not the way to get it.
But then they apparently they've already had closure according to her.
Yeah.
So I don't
yeah,
there
what's
has
going
to
on
be
now?
something else that she wants that is not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she is either not recognizing it or unwilling to listen to people who are telling her is a bad sign for their relationship.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
So, move on to the update. Thank you to everyone who commented. We had a few conversations in the week after the original post about the situation. I explained how her going behind my back plus dwelling on this past relationship made me feel. She said if I didn't want her to speak to him anymore, she wouldn't. I was adamant that this wasn't my call to make. She eventually said she wouldn't speak to him anymore and that she was naive to think that they could still be friends. As far as I'm aware, she let him know she wouldn't be in contact anymore because of me, and he was accepting of this. I haven't seen any of their messages nor asked to. A week later, my mother passed away, so any conversations between us were put on hold. About a week ago, we had a good chat in which I felt heard, mostly centering around me creating a larger social life outside the home and how we've become codependent on each other. I said my trust in her has been eroded, which upset her a little, but she understood. We seemed to be getting back on track, and I was open about my insecurities and what I needed to work on. Unfortunately, a few days later, she seemed distracted. When I asked what was wrong, she said she'd tell me later when the kids were in bed. This dragged out all day. Then she admitted she was still in contact with her ex for a couple of weeks and wants to meet him for coffee. I asked what would happen if he made a move, and she'd say she'd be disappointed. I also asked about his wife, and apparently he's separated, which she knew about before but didn't tell me. He's embarking on a new career and was asking her for advice, to which I questioned whether there wasn't anyone else in his life who could provide career advice. She also says he's had a cancer scare, which prompted her to get in touch with him again.
Stop it.
But you know what? You don't have to stop. You don't have to stop listening to us talk, because you can listen to full episodes just like this one. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your favorite audio podcasts listening content, and search OK Storytime. There is one more relevant update, but you think there's any hope for them, Sophia?
No. She keeps
No.
lying.
And
I mean, it sucks because it's
No.
20 years of marriage. They've got kids. I would say still, go to therapy, go do all of that stuff, but like it is not looking good.
No, I don't think that there is a path forward for them, because he gave her a path forward.
Yeah, he said he didn't demand that
a lot.
she,
He didn't ask her for a lot. He just said, "Hey, this is
making me
uncomfortable for me.
uncomfortable.
I want you to not want to speak to him. I don't want to tell you not to speak with him. I want you to recognize that this is bad."
That you shouldn't be doing
And
that.
she said, "Okay,"
And then did it anyway.
didn't
And lied
stop.
about it. Yeah.
and wants to advance it further.
No.
I think this is absolutely justified in OP if they want to end it.
Agreed.
If they want to go to therapy, more power to them. But I think it's either a fruitless road or a very long.
Yeah, and you both have to put a lot of effort into it.
And I don't
And
think OP should be
work
having to
on
put the
trust.
effort into it, because the OP isn't the one who did anything wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think there's always effort on both sides.
Yes,
It has to be
but-
done. But yes,
yeah, I
she's
understand that
the issue
OP
here.
is going to have to work, because marriages work on both sides. However, it shouldn't be like, this shouldn't be put on OP. Like the
Yes,
onus
I see.
to repair the relationship
Agreed.
should never go on OP.
Definitely.
Wife has to recognize that if she wants this to work, she has
made
to
the
do it.
mistake, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So here's the update. It's her call who she meets up with, but I told her the lying has to stop. She claims it's so she doesn't hurt me, but it's caused more damage by lying. She admitted that making me decide about her not talking to him anymore was poor, but that I don't understand the feelings that existed between them. I don't know what to say to her and have started investigating what steps to legally protect myself. I'm so angry and sad that at best she is sacrificing a 15-year marriage to be friends with an ex she hasn't seen in 20 years, and at worst will get back with him. Our relationship has been tarnished with lies and omissions of the truth, and I'm done. There's some comments. Why are you struggling so hard to be direct with her? If she goes to this coffee date, your marriage is over and you know it. Not because she'll leave you for him, but because you'll never forgive her. She needs to be told that. This is betrayal. Call it what it is. And the reply, given her previous lying and sneaking around, he probably assumes she'll still meet up with him behind his back if he tells her not to. He'd rather she be honest about it if she does, so at least he'll have closure. OP has told her the important part. If the only reason she decides not to deeply hurt him by seeing her ex is because of how it might affect her via the consequences, that's not going to fix the underlying issue. Because then it's anything he won't directly leave me over is fair game. He'll just stay miserable but married to me still. The reply, while I agree with the sentiment, I think it is misplaced. Going to coffee with him would be a deal breaker for sure, but honestly, it sounds like they are past that. From what he wrote, it sounds like he doesn't trust her at all at this point due to the lying, so would coffee make a difference? He stated he is already taking steps to protect himself and that he is done. I'm not necessarily advocating divorce because people here jump to that way too quickly, but they need some serious couples therapy and he probably should see someone individually to get his thoughts organized. Second comment, as a woman, I have to say, it's alarming that she's putting another man's feelings above her husband's. Once you're married, your partner should come first. Choosing to protect her ex from disappointment instead of being honest with you is a massive betrayal. If she can't cut that tie, then she's not protecting your marriage. At this point, you need to protect yourself. Stop pleading and start setting boundaries. Be crystal clear about what you want and what you will and won't accept. If she can't respect that, you're right to be looking at legal options. A marriage can survive many things, but not lies and divided loyalties. And unfortunately, that is the end
And
of
there
the
you
story.
go. And that's it.
I received a phone call saying my boyfriend is already engaged to someone else.
Well, that operator, I think you got your numbers mixed up.
Yeah. My boyfriend is from Zimbabwe.
That's awesome.
And when he was 16 and she was 13, he was betrothed to marry a girl from the town he grew up in. He has only met her a handful of times. Since then, he has gone overseas to study, which is where he met me. By the way, this comes from Oh No Oh My. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
He's Angie's boyfriend. I'm Dakota.
He has a girlfriend.
And I'm Carly, Keon's girlfriend. I almost said Keon's boyfriend.
No, that's me.
No. Yeah, dude, that's us.
Actually, that's me.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. But I think you might. So let us know your comments down below. And OP says, I'm devoted to him. He is the best and kindest man I've ever met, and we make each other very happy. I'm starting to worry about him becoming depressed because of the impossible expectations his family have of him to study, get married, send money back home, and look after his younger sibling. Oh, yikes. I've come to accept that I will almost certainly have to let him go to marry this other woman, but I'm having a hard time working out how I can support him and make him happy, and if I'm honest, encourage him to stay with me.
Whoa. None of that is necessarily what you have to do or should do. Certainly, this is a cultural difference that I can't really speak to. Although I once dated somebody who was in an arranged marriage in high school, and guess what? They didn't want to do it.
Oh,
And they didn't. I don't know. It's complicated, but I think at the end of the day, it's like not something that has to be done, and not something that you have to just like be like, okay, well, this is now my life, and I'm just gonna have to deal with this and figure out how to subtly convince him to want to stay with me instead. And it's like, I think this is just a wow. You're gonna pick an arranged marriage over me? Then that's not for me. Then
I just wanted to ask Reddit if anyone has a similar experience with an intercultural relationship. Do I have a hope in heck? And edit. Pretty amazed by how many people have replied. I'm still reading everything. Also, does anyone know where I can buy a sword? Boom.
I have 2.
Amazon. That's where you get them. All right. Edit. Have been asked to put our ages in the original post. I'm 23. He's 26-7. Also has a permanent visa and is not from a rural village. He grew up in a middle-class mining town where his father is an engineer. Commenter, you need to have an honest heart-to-heart with this man. You need to tell him your fears and your expectations for your relationship. If he's going to leave for her, then you two need to separate now instead of dragging it on.
mm-hmm.
If he is going to be with you, then he needs to talk with his family and let them know that you are his love and to cut the crap. Good luck, friend. Opie says, we've had so many of these discussions and tried several times to separate. It's become clear that while the two of us still care for each other, cutting ties just doesn't work. I don't know how to assert my expectations because I don't really have any other than he is good and loyal to me.
No, he's not.
Arranged marriage, it's hard to know who he's being disloyal to.
What are you talking? I'm sorry, but you saying cutting ties doesn't work because he's so loyal to me? No, he's not. He's going to go into an arranged marriage with somebody from his town that he's met a handful of times.
Yeah.
I get it that it's a cultural difference, but it's like, if he's truly like unwilling to, be like, you know what, I'm shirking that. I don't care. I know it's going to be an issue with my family, but like, you are my wife.
Yeah.
I want to marry you. If he can't do that, then this is not the relationship for you.
Yeah. Agreed. A little bit more context to the situation. He told me about his arranged marriage about 1.5 years into our relationship. It took me another 6 months to fully understand what he was telling me. And since I've been struggling with the moral implications as well as the practical side of being in a relationship that isn't likely to be approved by his family, we were unsuccessful in breaking up because there was never a moment where we questioned whether we were happy together. Separation seemed like the logical thing to do to avoid further pain, but it failed. As far as I am being dishonest with his family, well, you may be right, but I don't think it's that simple. I don't fully understand the culture, but it's nothing like what I grew up with. The best way I can describe it is that it seems similar to family dynamics in the 50s, where the dad is the head of the household and doesn't have a very emotional connection with the kids. The mom is someone who worries about him and he feels he has to protect. And his older brothers are like quasi father figures while he has responsibilities for his younger brothers. I mean, don't want him not to have a relationship with his family, but does he know what no contact is?
He's clearly not going to go no contact with his family. And if you do stay in a relationship and it does ruin his connections with his family, he's probably going to resent you for it and
Yeah.
blame you for it.
Yeah.
And regret that he did this and say this was all a big mistake. So the thing you need to do is walk away from this. Don't tell me you don't know how to do that.
Or call the girl and be like, yo, you still want to go through with this? Yeah. OP explains to another commenter, when I said it took 6 months, what I was trying to imply that it took me 6 months to really understand the gravity of the situation and to really understand that there's strong possibility that love will not conquer all in our case.
Yeah, what do you mean a strong? He's telling you that he's going to get married to this other person and that there's nothing to be done about it because it's what his family expects. So he's telling you that, yeah, this relationship's on life support and one day the plug's going to get pulled.
Yeah. In college, I was on and off again with, we kind of broke up, got back together, kind of broke up, got back together. In my other relationship, his parents didn't really approve of me. And we should have just walked away at the first one. And it's hard because it's like, I love you so much. I think we're great together. The only reason we're not together is because of my parents. And it's easy to come, like, they're not breaking up because they have beef with each other. They're breaking up because of the circumstances. So it makes sense why they get back together so easily.
I feel like he's got to be the one then to be like, I'm pulling the plug because this is something that like I knew that I had to do this whole time, and it's affecting you that like I'm also caving to date you again.
Well,
Like it's got to he's just got to be like, okay, I got to do the tough thing now.
Dude.
I'm worried OP's just being idealistic and that this guy is being like, I mean, yeah, I don't have to feel guilty. Why would I feel guilty? I told you that this was the situation, so I don't have to end anything. I'm not being tortured about it because I already know I'm getting married. I'm worried that that's what's happening. I hope it's not, but I'm worried that's what it is.
Yeah. We have another update. 2 months later, he decided he has no choice but to marry the girl he's betrothed to.
Boo.
He hopes we can remain friends and keep in touch. He will be going back home to marry her in September, after which he will return here with his new bride to start married life together. The good news is that they will be living in the same suburb as me, so the chances of me bumping into them are high. No, clarified in the comments, this is sarcasm. How shall I move on and avoid spending the next year sitting in the dark drinking gin?
Get a hobby, meet new people. I think you really do need to reanalyze this relationship. You dated him for 1.5 years before he told you about this. Then it kind of didn't sink in for another 6 months. So you've been together for 2 years at the point where you realized, oh, this is like serious. This is a real thing. I don't know if this was necessarily the fairy tale love conquers all situation being stifled by, family tradition that you might think it is. And I think reframing it in that way would definitely help you move on, because now you're not imagining like you've lost like the love of your life in this fairy tale situation and it's like a divine tragedy. Like it's really just like a guy kind of strung you along.
Yeah. Can you ask him for the sake of his feelings for you to move to a different suburb? It's not going to matter to the new girl where she lives, so he at least should do one last thing right by you. The reason he's moving to the area is to finish his master's. The college he wants to go to happens to be about 5 minutes away from my house, and the city I live in isn't all that big. Another commenter says, just talk about it with someone you can share this with. I tried dealing with it by myself when my girlfriend of 7 years left me when I found out she had been cheating on me. I thought I was over her, and so when I tried to date someone again a year later, I realized I was still effed up. Thankfully, I ended up dating a girl who became my best friend, and I could talk about everything with her. Now I feel great, probably the best I've ever felt. Opie says, thanks, shall try to do the same, but tell me, do you feel embarrassed to talk to your friends about your situation? The reason I ask is because I feel ashamed about the whole thing. Even though I don't believe my friends would judge me, I feel like an idiot for believing things might work out. The idea of discussing that idiocracy with anyone else who knows me is really repellent at the moment. You're in love, and you're young.
Sometimes you gotta eat the L. You just gotta eat it, and then just swallow it,
Tastes
and
like,
it's gone.
tastes like lizard leather.
You ate that L, that leather lizard L.
Same commenter. Honestly, could not talk about this with any of my friends. I really only have male friends. It wasn't until I became friends with this other girl who was going through a breakup too that I could finally talk about the things that bothered me. And I felt a little embarrassed talking about it, but when I realized she wouldn't judge me, I was able to open up. You just need to find someone that you are comfortable sharing with. Opie says, thanks, sound advice. I've started at a new university, so at least the chances of meeting new people are pretty good. It would have been a shame if my only option was sidle up to people at the bus stop. Another commenter, how do people do this? How do you leave someone you shared your life with for 3 years? How could you marry someone you don't even know? How do you make it work with someone of a completely different upbringing, assuming he grew up in North America and her in Zimbabwe? Who's that scared of their parents that they are willing to throw it all away to please them? Please, these stories shock me always.
Yeah, culture difference, different cultures, different expectations.
Yeah, my culture is if I don't, give my first born son to go to the work at the sawmill for a summer, I have ashamed my family.
Turn that boy's collar blue.
I asked him very similar questions, and the answers were all of the lines of, I have to choose between you and my entire family. If I stay with you, they would be humiliated and would never fully accept you. Also, any misfortunes that we might experience in the future, a baby passing, will be attributed to the fact that I betrayed my family and you are a heathen, and this is our punishment from God.
Honestly, that's like the most heathen belief you could probably have. That a bad thing that happens to you is you being smited by God because you didn't listen to your parents. Okay, sure.
He has spoken to her a few times and can only hope for the best. She comes from a good Christian family and has been trained since she was young to be a good wife. He said that he will regret it for the rest of his life if he can't find happiness with her. But this is the decision he has to make. Another one, he only came here to study a few years ago when he was in his early 20s. So they have had similar upbringings. The major difference being that he has experienced years in a totally different secular culture and can see the value of it. She has never left her hometown except for short stays with relatives in other cities. She still has her V card, etc., etc. It's not that he is scared of them, it's that he feels guilty because he feels that he is betraying them. Also, this goes beyond his parents to his extended family, and family is very important to him culturally. The prospect of not having his family is more or less unthinkable for him. I don't know if I feel more sorry for him or myself. I guess it's probably me because Disney.
What? I don't know what that means, but look. The way
Because
that
of Disney love, it's like everyone, love will triumph everything.
the whole way that this guy's been moving, it's like he knew he had this arranged marriage thing. Clearly, he was never, ever intending on not fulfilling it. And he is in a different country and a different culture, and he knows that anything with you cannot be long term because his family won't accept you, and he puts his family's approval above everything else. So he literally just ran around with you like, oh, this is just a little toy. This is just a little phase of my life where I get to play around with her, and then I put her back on the shelf and I go marry my arranged marriage wife and find happiness with her. Yeah, I'd be like, go find happiness with your wife.
I hope you have a miserable time.
This reminds me of, I'm watching a lot of Game of Thrones right now, but this reminds me of Rob. Whenever he married one girl and he should have just did the arranged marriage.
Yep.
Commenter. The fact that he felt the need to go mention that she has been trained to be a good wife is a kind of indication of the respect he might have had for you if you ended up marrying him. Opie says, that was me paraphrasing, perhaps slightly bitterly. Not a direct quote. He was saying that she has had a sheltered upbringing, is very religious, and is waiting for the day she gets married for her whole life. I mean, same. I've been waiting for that since I was 5.
Been trained to be married.
Been praying.
Trained to be wed.
Yep. He didn't say in a condescending, she's a good little woman way, or even say that those qualities are universally valued by the standards of his hometown. However, she is a good candidate.
I don't know what's going on here, girl. Get your self-worth up off the floor, man.
She's down bad.
And
this guy's hot.
Honestly,
this guy's hot.
I was actually going to give OP a little bit of grief because after you've realized the seriousness of this, you should have immediately walked away. As soon as he was like, oh, yeah, well, you know this, I'm going to get married and then we can't do this anymore. As soon as that like sank in all the way, you should have walked off and you should have been like, why would you do this? Like, why would you create like this thing with me and us have this bond and this relationship where I can see a future with us, and then you pull this a year and a half afterwards? Like, you're pathetic. You're a liar. You deceived me. Lose my number. Lose my info. That's where you should be at.
Honestly, he knows what he has to do. OP on moving. The wedding is overseas, so thankfully mutual friends attending is not an issue. I can't move at the moment, though. I've gotten a 2-year lease. More importantly, I've just started a course that I love, and my uni offers one of the best programs available in my field. I can't sacrifice that at the moment because it's really a major reason that I haven't locked myself in my room with a stack of DVDs and several cases of wine. Poor OP. This is before the internet. To a longer comment saying she's not mad enough, he didn't fight it, and she should move. Just a couple of things to clear up. I've explained above why I don't want to move. I have rental and university commitments that are very important and positive, respectfully. He did tell his parents about me. He said the extent of their response is don't even think about it. Apparently a few words were spoken, but they have made themselves very clear. Whether this can be considering fighting for the relationship, I'm still unsure. I don't know for him to even bring it up with his parents was a big deal for him. When he told me about it, he seemed upset with himself. He said something like it was a short conversation that they cut off almost immediately. I may live to regret that I didn't have the balls to say more. I'm not mad. To be real, I don't even think this woman is a thing. I don't think this woman is a real thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, oh, you mean the more that you could say today or tomorrow or immediately? You're like, oh, I wish, oh, they shut down the conversation. I might regret it the rest of my life that I didn't say more. Whoa, well, you could fix that immediately, actually. But you won't, because you just want to say what makes you sound like you gave it your best shot. It's just crazy, dude.
This is wild.
I hope that you come out from under this spell that this guy had you on.
I'm not mad because I can see that he isn't happy and that he feels trapped. I still care for him and can't bring myself to write him off just because I don't get what I want. I can see why you imagine him to be manipulative, but I think this is just one of those things in life that suck for all who is involved. Was the future wife the person who called you? OP says the ID of the caller remains a mystery. The call seems to come from inside the country, which would indicate that it wasn't her. I'll never know, because understandably, he doesn't want his future wife to know about us. Wonder why. Asking her if she made the phone call would be fruitless if it was her, and devastating if it wasn't. In any case, I get another call. I'll politely insist that they identify themselves properly. At least I asked the police to identify them. Shan't be harassed. And OP about keeping in touch with her lover. A part of me wants to think that we will keep in touch and try to look out for each other from a distance. The danger is that I think I'll always feel that he's really mine and that I'll have more legitimate claim to him than his wife. That's why we need to stay away from each other, especially in the first couple of years. It wouldn't be fair to anyone. Dude, do not be near him if he's like freaking married.
Don't be near him ever again. Leave this guy in the past. Again, I just feel like this guy's lying to you. You're like, he's upset. It's like, you can fake that very simply. You just gotta go, oh, baby, I just don't know what to do. Like, and I don't know, you sound a little gullible, OP, I'm not gonna lie, so it probably wouldn't take that much to fool you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just calling it how I see it. I wish nothing but the best for you, but man.
Well, she did say Disney. I mean, I had a fairy tale Disney aspect about love with my ex, and then that all crumbled. I was like, oh, yeah.
You got to be pretty tolerant to be told he has an arranged marriage and still it takes 6 months for that to sink in. Like, you don't immediately go, hey, what did you just say? Like, arranged how? Like, you're going to marry, like you were or you are going to marry this person? How did we not get to the bottom of that immediately as soon as it was spoken out loud?
Where OP is and whether they will live there long term. Not in the U.S., in Australia. And no, she will come here while he finishes his master's. Then they will go back to Africa. Update 2.
Nice.
No, mate.
Nar.
Nar, mate. Okay, so update 2. We still see each other a couple of days a week. Dude, she's dickmatized, man. He does shift work, so that minimizes our opportunities for spending too much time together. We've agreed to make the most of our time together before September. That is not fair to you. That is not fair to his future wife. He is just using you.
Call me the Human Torch because I'm flaming right now.
I'm sure people will criticize me for it, but we've tried to separate completely. It makes us both.
Oh, no! I have
Zero sympathy for you at this point. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
It's going to suck when the time comes to properly say goodbye. It's nice to have sound sleep snuggled up to someone. I was in a situation with my ex. I know I keep bringing her up, but she was going to leave in a month to go to Atlanta, but we still like spent as much time together as we could, knowing we probably weren't going to make it.
Well, that's different.
that different?
That's
Okay.
different. She's not going to Atlanta to marry somebody that
She
she's
ended
been
up-
planning to marry for, I don't know,
Oh.
like her whole life.
She ended up doing that a year later.
Wasn't the plan, though.
Maybe.
She had
it
no
was.
betrothal. Yeah, I don't know. That's different.
Yeah.
That really is like what OP's kind of thinking of. It's just like, oh, circumstances are, forcing us apart. You're going to Atlanta. I'm not. Whatever. Either call would be correct. It's like you can either spend that time together. You can be like, I don't want this to hurt more than it's already going to. So I think we should just, if we know this is what's happening, we should just call it right now. Because I don't want to, I don't want you to play with my heart.
Okay, update 3. 9 years later, editors know I included this to show OP's life did move on. I have my phone on silent because a baby is sleeping on me. Even without sound, I woke the babe from silently shaking with laughter. Worth it. And if you want to shake with some more laughter, shake your booty on over to your favorite podcast platform.
Check.
Shake the booty.
Check the booty.
And you can type with your booty, OK Storytime, on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.
You're the only one we know who can do that.
Well,
Not
maybe
everyone can type with their butt.
and maybe some people can, but they haven't tried yet. So try it right now.
Try your
for us.
best.
And to a commenter, I sure do miss babies. Opie says, yep, never used to get it, but I can say, hand on my heart now, best thing I ever did. Editors note, OP hasn't been active since 2021. Hope she's doing really well. Editors note 2, I couldn't find the context for the comment, but OP initially clarified the ex wasn't planning on living in Australia forever. That could have changed, but here is the comment. His big plan is he wants to start a farm with his best friend in Zimbabwe.
No, in Zambia.
Oh no, I'm in trouble. I'm dyslexic. It's fine. Oh.
You saw Z and you swung. Yeah.
No. I just pronounced it wrong. Rather than going back to
Zimbabwe.
It's the worst story to read right now. Oh my gosh. I recently went overseas with him to meet his best friend
What?
and his best friend's fiance, who both are white South Africans. We all get along beautifully.
What? That's the worst thing I've ever heard. You're still going on trips with him to Africa when he's getting married to what? I hope you've moved on. I hope you move on. La dee dee da, la da la dee dee da.
That was a fever dream right there.
a little crazy.
But guys, we got another story coming up right now.
Boyfriend called my job trashy, so I left him.
Do you perhaps drive trash trucks?
So, a little backstory first. My boyfriend and I have been dating for almost 4 years. We broke up for 6 months for a lot of reasons, mostly disrespect on his part. I decided to give things another try, and things have been really great since then. By the way, this comes from user HootyTheOwl78, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon,
I'm Angie.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you do in the comments. As Opie says, I worked at Hooters when we first started dating, but I eventually quit and started bartending at various bars. I worked my way through college, and I am set to graduate next May. It got to the point a year into our relationship where he said he didn't want to date a girl who worked at a place like that. So, I stopped bartending and didn't work at Hooters again. Fast forward 3 years later, we're broken up and I move out of his apartment. I work at Hooters again because it's an easy job and extremely flexible with my school schedule. Not to mention it's down the street from where I moved to. We get back together, and he says he'll support me about working there. We were talking today and I could tell something was clearly wrong. I asked him what was wrong because I feel like it's really important to communicate your feelings. And he said he didn't want to talk about it. I said, okay, well, I want you to be able to talk to me about everything. Long story short, he gets really upset on the phone and he says he doesn't like me working at Hooters and he hates that I get off late. I start to get upset because he said he would support me, but now he's saying it's a trashy place and that he's been putting aside all of his feelings to support me. By him supporting me, it's really just him pretending he doesn't care about it. He also said that since he's starting graduate school, he doesn't want to deal with this crap, which I guess means he's getting off work late. He said he doesn't feel that I feel the same way about it. I have already told him how I feel about it. I would rather not work at a restaurant anymore. I would rather have some cushy job working at a Kendra Scott store or something, but that doesn't pay my bills. I pay for all my own bills, where he has a millionaire dad who pays for all of his bills. He also said that he was never going to support me 100% about it, which bothered me because I feel like you either support someone or you don't. I told him I was working there before we even got back together, and this is temporary until I graduate. The entire conversation just made me feel bad, and like he just wanted me to say, okay, I'll quit and find a new job. He also said he didn't want to talk about it to begin with because it wouldn't matter. I don't know what to do, Reddit. This is putting a lot of stress on me now, and we have some relevant comments. Deleted says, hi Reddit, I got back together with my disrespectful boyfriend and he's being disrespectful again. What should I do? Well played. I'll be responding to a downvoted commenter that is Opie's fault. I was getting more upset at the fact that I felt like he was putting me down about working there because it's trashy, etc. Before we got back together, he seemed okay with it and said he would support me. It was more of like I felt like he was going back on what he said. After the entire conversation, I said how much I respected his feelings. I never turned his feelings around on him. I did tell him what he was expressing was making me feel though. I made it clear I always want to communicate how we feel, no matter what. I think holding things in is counterproductive and can create resentment. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. It's a really chill job. But would I rather have some more laid-back job if I could? Yes. But who wouldn't? We do have an update 10 days later. Well, we broke up.
Yay!
Saw that one coming. At first, he apologized and said he would support me. We did that the first time, remember?
Right.
Didn't work. And when I told him this was clearly a temporary job, but things came to a head again yesterday when I went to a festival for a few hours with some friends and he doesn't like those kinds of things anymore. That basically by me going is a distraction for him. And also that I didn't care about his feelings because he mentioned he didn't like festivals. But I didn't really understand that by him telling me that he didn't want me going at all. And he really didn't have a reason either. He ended up bringing up the fact that I work at Hooters again, even though we clearly already talked about this a week ago and thought we came to a conclusion that I'm not going to quit my job, and he seemed to understand. So I felt like he was back to trying to control me and making me feel guilty for going to one dang concert/festival, and we got into a huge fight basically ending on me saying, unless he is going to pay for all my bills, he has no say in where I work. Well, that didn't end well, and he just ended up saying, well, I didn't know this is how you really felt about everything. I wish I had known, because I previously stopped working at bars/Hooters for him. And I was just like, okay. Then I started feeling guilty, like maybe I should stop going to those kinds of concerts and change my job. I regret even trying to work things out with him for it just to end like this a few months later. But at least I gave it another chance. I don't think you should have even given him a second chance.
Yeah, I mean, if that makes you feel better, sure. But I think, you gave it a chance. You found out that it was just as bad as the first time.
You learned your lesson, OP.
Yeah.
We have some more relevant comments. And OP adds another thing the ex said. Yeah, he also threw out the "you are who you hang out with" card. So I guess I'm hanging out with hundreds of other people simultaneously. Okay, and now we have a second update.
Whoa, second update.
4 months
I
later.
really hope they don't get back together.
If you get back together, OP, I don't feel bad for you.
I will be so upset.
You should have learned this the first 2 times at least.
Please don't get back together.
Update 2, 4 months later. So it's been about 4 months since I last posted, but I thought I'd give you all an update. Here in my last update and my original post. So basically, I've been no contact with my ex since my last post.
Yay!
Thank goodness.
God.
I was still in a pretty bad place emotionally and mentally 4 months ago. I had been struggling with that relationship for almost 4 years, and honestly, it messes with your head after a while. You get used to that crappiness for so long that it starts to become a norm. When you look at it from an outside perspective, you just want it to be like, what the F are you doing? For anyone that is in a similar position that I was, please, 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 please get support from friends, family, whoever. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I promise you. And by the way, I can promise you more episodes with stories just like this. Just go to your favorite podcast apps such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and search up OK Storytime. There, I can promise a lot of stories,
Yep.
a lot of content.
A whole lot.
That's my promise to you.
More than 3, at least.
At least. Congratulations. I was
Good
like,
job.
before anything else, congratulations, OP. I think we've all been there, like you said. You learn from, you just learn from it.
Yeah, you look back and you say, what the F were you doing? And then you never do it again.
And sometimes there are people who do it longer than 4 years.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to the story and you're like, this sounds like my, situation where my partner doesn't support me or just doesn't help me and makes me feel bad about what I want to do or live my life,
Trust us.
maybe ask somebody from an outside perspective and be like, what do you think? But let's go ahead and finish up the story. I am now in a really healthy relationship with a guy who would give 2 craps whether or not I work at Hooters. Nice. Oh, and we definitely just got back from Austin City Limits, which is a festival. We know ACL, or I know ACL. ACL is fun. And had a great time thanks to not having anyone trying to make me feel guilty for going, LOL. Pretty short update, nothing too exciting, but I wanted to say thank you, Reddit. And we have a couple more comments here. Comment number 1. It will never not amaze me how some men will pursue women who are the opposite of what they clearly look for in a woman. He knew from the jump she worked there. It gives the whole, he wants a free woman so he can put her in a cage kind of vibe. Reply. He wants to be able to tell his friends his girlfriend is so hot she used to work at Hooters and have her working a more respectable job when he brags so his friends can't joke about it. Reply to that was saying, which would have happened anyways in a few months. She was just working the job while doing school because it paid well for part-time work. As soon as OP could graduate to a full-time desk job, she was totally going to do that. This guy was a controlling knucklehead and stupid. And that is all very true.
Yep.
And that is the end of that story, too.
My boyfriend chose another girl over me.
Shit happens.
My 21 female boyfriend, 23 male of almost 5 years, kicked me out of an online game to play with another girl. This might sound stupid and insecure, but it is what it is. There's this mobile game my boyfriend and I play together. He taught me how to play it a few months ago. It's a multiplayer game with teammates. Sometimes we play together, and often he plays with his friends. Are we talking about Clash of Clans right now? Is that multiplayer?
Clash Royale. I've been playing Clash Royale with my girl. She's better than me. It's kind of frustrating.
He's slightly addicted to it, but it makes him happy, so I don't mind. By the way, this comes from user kicked me out of the game, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Baby No Money.
And we're here to give you good advice, but we don't always have all the answers.
Or really bad advice.
Yeah.
Depends what you want.
So we'd only know what we do. If you would do something different, let us know in the comments. OP says, a few weeks ago, my boyfriend added this random girl from his town on Facebook.
Cringe.
That's big red flag. And then I saw him playing with her in matches. All right, the red flag's getting bigger. I thought it was weird that he didn't ask me to play because he usually does, so I asked about it. He said she's just someone he met on Facebook and it's no big deal. Whatever.
Facebook Marketplace link up on the game, bro. Come on.
Later that day, while he's playing with her, he decides to add me to the team. The game allows you to use the microphone to talk with teammates. And the second I got in, she saw. And she said, very shrilly and obnoxiously, "Who is this? Who's Ashley?" Ashley being my name. He told her I'm his girlfriend. And what does she do? She leaves the game.
Ooh. How old are they?
Ooh. I think they're like early 20s.
I wonder if it's PUBG. My brother plays PUBG all the time. PUBG Mobile is actually really fun.
On mobile?
Yeah,
PUBG Mobile?
really
I had
fun.
no idea. I thought they were like a dead platform now.
PUBG?
And they're back?
No, they've been back.
Wow. Okay, PUBG's cooking.
I mean, if I was her, I would like, how do you get linked up on Facebook? This must be some middle America shit. But like, yeah, you should be worried.
Yeah, I think
She's
at the
coming.
point,
She's
yeah.
coming to steal your man's.
As soon as she like goes, "Who is this?" and then logs out,
Yeah.
it's like the alarms should be at full blast.
She's probably just trying to mess with her head.
She's the proto girlfriend.
Yeah. The worst.
So OP says, I got mad. I asked him, what the F was that about? How she just left without saying hey or anything, questioning who I was, and then leaving at the mention of the word girlfriend. He told me it's not a big deal. She just had something to do. So I let it go. Don't let it go next time. Side note, I fully trust my boyfriend. Bad decision. That's not the issue here. Fast forward to today, my boyfriend and I are about to play, and he asks if he can invite her to the team. And I said, sure, I'm willing to give her a chance. He introduced her to me by saying, Ashley, this is X. She's a great girl. She studies X in college. Her attitude put me off, to say the least. I said hi to her, and she said hi back. I tried to make conversation with her, and she would respond in one-word answers. I tried to make jokes, and she wouldn't respond. Anything my boyfriend said, however, was met with extended responses, laughter, and jokes. And she calls him by a nickname.
Okay, sus.
This is past the point of no return already. They got a nickname? They were bantering throughout the game while I felt stupid. Whenever he said something nice about me to his other teammates, about how smart I am, she wouldn't respond. I kept my cool until the match was over and told him she was annoying me. I asked how he didn't feel that something was off. He said, there's no girl in my eyes but you. But that is not my issue. She clearly has something against me, and I'm annoyed that he doesn't see it or care. Right after that, we were all playing another match when he texted me privately, go ahead and study. We're going to call Jack to come play with us. Jack is a friend of his that I know and have played with before. So he ultimately kicked me out of the team, but kept that girl in to play with him and his other friends. I was fuming. I told him I felt like he'd rather play with her than me, and he said he knew I had studying to do, so he kicked me out. I didn't even have any studying to do because I told him 20 minutes earlier I'm on top of things and I'm doing okay study-wise. So I felt like that was a cop-out. He said I'm overreacting. He's just like, babe, I'm just trying to keep you responsible, babe. Just want you to be the best version of yourself you can be while I flirt with Jenny from Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I feel like it really depends. If he drops his voice, like the Valorant voice, where guys drop their voice.
Yeah, where they try to be the cooler.
Yeah. So if he's doing that, then it's definitely red flags and he's trying to impress her. But yeah, I mean, it does seem pretty sus, specifically Facebook Marketplace dating. I'm not that big of a fan. But yeah, I mean, he's on thin ice right now.
Yeah, I think honestly, the biggest red flag is that, because there's a reality where maybe he doesn't actually want, he's not trying to flirt with this girl.
Yeah.
But the moment your partner is like, yo, she's got beef with me, clearly, right? She doesn't like me. And you're just going, not really. If he doesn't care about that, that's actually a red flag.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing nothing, let's say your partner has a bad time with someone and she's not ostracized immediately, then you're doing something wrong in your own behavior. So yeah, he needs to be taken out for a spanking.
Let's see if OP gives him one. So he says I'm overreacting, and I probably am. No, you're not, girl.
No, you're not.
You're right on top of it. But I'm still pissed, and he's still playing with her at this very moment. I'm not quite sure what to do. I'm thinking of just leaving it be, but I'm so damn annoyed, and I felt so disrespected by that girl. I realize I probably sound ridiculous, but maybe it's because there's nothing else to worry about right now. I just feel like he doesn't care about my feelings. That's the nail on the head right there. We have a great relationship otherwise. I'll admit, I have been jealous lately, and it annoys him. But what is the right course of action here? Should I let it go, or do I have a right to talk to him about it again? We have an update after this. Honestly, I think you just need to hop in the lobby on the other side and just dominate.
Yeah.
Once you get that,
she already has had the actual conversation with him, right?
Yeah.
So I think just open it up again, and if he doesn't see the light that this is a very serious matter, then he can go for himself. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to a relationship, I mean, it's just open communication and understanding what the partner needs.
Right.
So it doesn't seem like the boyfriend is doing that good of a job of mending your insecurity here. And it's totally fine to be insecure if this is upsetting you, and set a boundary and be like, look, she's whack. I'm in real life. She's on Facebook Marketplace. So that would be my best take is sit him down, take him out for a nice dinner so he can't leave. Soon as the main course sits down, be like, we gotta talk.
Yeah.
And then make it serious and make it don't downplay your feelings, because that's cringe. Because if it upset you enough to write the story. So you could also send him these clips of both of us saying hey, stop being a douchebag, bro. And hope it helps.
Yeah, dude, you gotta listen to your partner.
Yeah, you gotta listen to
your partner. If your partner's got a problem with somebody, you kind of have a problem with somebody.
Yeah.
To some level. All right, we've got the update. I do want to say, though, you hit the clear communication. That's like our cornerstone.
Yeah.
Like 99% of all problems in a relationship completely solved by just like clear, upfront, honest, vulnerable communication.
Yeah.
Early, not late.
Yeah.
So.
Because you don't want to build up resentment, and then you're just holding two L's because you're resentful, and then you didn't communicate properly. But sometimes two L's equals a W, but not very often.
All right, let's hit the update. So, first of all, thank you everyone for your responses. I read every single one and took everyone's insights into account. You were all very kind. Oh, nice. That does not always happen.
Wow, positive reinforcement. Crazy online, insane.
Absolutely. This is a positive update. Okay. I know in my original replies I seemed set on breaking up with him, but I'll explain what happened. After we both calmed down, I told him we needed to actually have a talk about what was going on. I was still super upset, and I cried. There's nothing wrong with that. Once he realized how bad it was making me feel, he apologized profusely and admitted it must have made me feel like crap. He said she truly means nothing to him.
Nothing to him.
She's just a Facebook marketplace girlfriend, babe. I just needed a teammate. She just became a part of the gaming group with him and his friends. He told me when he kicked me out, he truly thought I had work to do. I told him that wasn't his decision to make and that I could have left if I felt I had work to do, and he agreed and apologized. I told him that the fact she plays with him and his friends so often made me feel like I was second best, and he took full responsibility for making me feel that way. He really felt bad about me feeling excluded and wasn't really thinking about how much it affected me. I asked him how he would feel if the roles were reversed. If I found a random guy to play with on Facebook Marketplace and kicked my boyfriend out of the game for this guy, played with him for hours on end every day, and ignored my boyfriend for him, he said he wouldn't be happy at all and would lose his cool the same way I did. So he finally understood where I was coming from and was nothing but apologetic, asking how to make it right. He said he'd do anything to remedy the situation and make me happy about it.
Blocker.
You got to block her, and also you got to grind my RuneScape account. You got to get me 99
here's our
mining.
ads on RuneScape. Please, 99 everything by next week.
Yeah. He said if I wanted him to stop playing with her completely and end his friendship with her, he would. He said, I'm the most important thing in his life, and no game or girl could get in the way. I didn't tell him to stop playing with her, but I said I would like to be more included and called to play the same way he was doing with her, that I should be his first choice and not some random girl. He agreed, and now he calls me to play with his friends multiple times a day, plays with just me, and hasn't played with her nearly as often. I don't mind if he does, though, since we've cleared the air. He said she is truly nothing but a casual friend and makes sure to mention me during games. I also told him her disrespectful attitude towards me bothered me, but he told me she's just shy around people she doesn't know, and that generally she barely talks during games, and also that she has no one else to play with. He said to me, babe, aren't you beautiful? Aren't you smart? Aren't you successful and sexy? You're all of those things, so a random girl on a game shouldn't have you doubting yourself. I'm getting suspicious. I'm a little suspicious at this point.
I mean, it really depends what game we're playing here. That's like the most important factor.
I think he's playing games with her heart. A little bit.
I mean,
because if she's like, doing like the yes, no, like, like responses to his girlfriend, and then whenever he talks, she's like, oh my God, that was the funniest thing I ever seen in my whole life. Like, oh my God, like, can you send me a picture? Like, you should. Can
you clip that? Can you clip that and send it back to me? Yeah.
Like, something's going on there. It's not just like, oh, she just like doesn't have any friends, babe. Like, that just sounds like BS to me.
I mean, I would just say take the next step and tell him to unfriend her.
Yeah.
Just rid of the whole situation. If you're having any second feelings, it's a nothing could it be. Oh. So I would just go ahead and delete her.
Yeah. Then for fact if he continues communication with her after, it's like, all right, now you're moving sneaky style.
Yeah. It also depends on like how long this relationship has been going on for. Because it's like if they are in a very, very committed relationship, then there is probably some merit to being like, okay, like maybe it's totally fine and maybe he wants to go talk and have a friend that is a girl on a game.
Yeah, they've been together for 5 years. So I feel like that's enough time to like be able to have a platonic,
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be like hyper territorial, but it should also be enough time to understand how to put your girl's feelings first.
Yeah, no, totally. I think the issue is like she's whack and then he's being like defensive for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would give me heebie-jeebies, I think.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, yeah, it really depends the game. Because if it is Valorant, then she's cooked. Like for sure. Because that's like the game where you like guys hit on girls for sure.
You gotta get the recording of his voice and see if it goes lower when she gets in the lobby. So I told him it wasn't that I was doubting myself because I am hot and sexy, but that I was feeling disrespected by this girl and how she obviously has a thing for him. He even said if she has a thing for him, he has me as his queen, so he'd never look anywhere else. He apologized for telling me to leave if it bothered me so much, and said it was something that slipped out in the heat of the moment since I kept nagging him about it and he got annoyed. I feel better now. I do want to make other friends to play with so I don't feel so dependent on him, but I feel better about the whole situation. Thank you everyone for your help. And there's a second update.
Oh.
What's the over-under on a breakup here? Is it a...
I mean, we had the second update. It was the third update.
No, it's update number 2.
Update number 2. So I mean, like the first update. The first update, it sounded like it was like fine, but maybe it just hit hell really quick.
I think the biggest thing with stuff like this, when somebody like makes a mistake and they're like, "Oh, baby, I'll do like whatever for you. Like I'll change like anything." Is it's like you gotta hold them accountable.
Yeah,
over
accountability
time. It's
is key.
like people can like change and like modify behaviors for like a week or two, but it's like it's the long term, like 2 months, 3 months of like, all right, are they actually committed to making this change? So let's see if he kept hanging around Facebook Marketplace. Update number 2. I deleted the account I made the original posts on, so I don't have the links to them. Not sure how many people remember, but it got a lot of attention around April. Quick recap for those who didn't see it. Boyfriend of 5 years kicked me out of an online game to play with another girl. The one time we did play together, she would call him nicknames, ignore me, and just generally be rude. I knew something was up, but he convinced me it's all in my head. I ended up leaving him.
Damn. My goat.
It's game over. We got back together shortly after my post. Oh, hitting us with the twists and turns. This was in April. I continued to be suspicious of this girl. Strange comments she would leave on his social media. Weird behavior on his end. He told me he has no texts with her and doesn't talk to her at all when I'd asked to look through his messages with her. He said he hasn't talked to her in months and forgot what she looked like. I don't even know. I wiped her from my entire memory, babe. I don't even know who you're talking about. You're the only girl I've ever met.
Bro, this guy's so fucking fried.
I'd find him on the phone late at night, and he would tell me it was his male friend. Whenever I'd ask about her, he would tell me I'm being insecure, I'm overthinking, I'm jealous. There's nothing going on. He would never cheat on me. He deserves all of my trust, and I shouldn't worry. In my original post, I mentioned how I knew he would never cheat on me because of how much I trust him. But my gut was telling me something was wrong the entire time. Yesterday, the girl came to me with proof. She confessed it all. She gave me all the screenshots, pictures, and the works. Oh God, she had the guilty conscience. She came out. They were in a relationship the whole time.
No way.
No way. He told her he only talks to me once a month.
Whoa.
They've been together for 5 years. They live together. Oh my God. When he would offer to delete her off social media to make me happy, he would go and text her apologizing for doing so, saying he really had to. She showed me the screenshots of that. And every time I'd ask him, he would straight up lie to me. Seeing the proof made the world come crashing down on my head. Oh,
Bro, how do you have
no,
that much
sweetie.
time? Like, I get it. Like, there are people who are like serial cheaters and shit and like go out of their way to do that. But it's like, just play the game.
Right.
Like, were they in real life?
I don't know. I think it was all digital.
Oh
it was like
my
a
God,
digital girlfriend experience. Digital lovers.
Cringe. You are cringe, bro. You are cringe.
So that girl was laughing on the phone. She was happy that she was a homewrecker, basically. It was a terrible, terrible phone call. Well, dang. I know what's not terrible, though. The fact that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, just search OK Storytime, and you have the whole archive at the tips of your fingers. Delicious. Okay, we have a little bit more story here, but like honestly, yeah, I think my spidey senses kicked in. I just felt like that guy talking about all those like, oh, he's like, oh yeah, dude, I'll do. Anyone who's like, I'll do absolutely anything when it's like the most obvious solution is just so easy,
it's
in front of you.
It's right there. Yeah,
and you're just like gonna work around anything else.
I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I'm like begging on the floor, where I'm like, I'll do anything to like resume our relationship to a healthy point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry that this happened to you. It's lame. I've been cheated on. Most people have been cheated on, and it's very it's like a disgusting feeling. I don't really. Have you been cheated on?
Not to my knowledge, thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
But yeah, I've always been like, I would never do it the other way either. You know,
Yeah,
it's like because it's just so easy not to.
Yeah, it's so easy. And if you want to, then clearly the relationship isn't in your favor or slash like going well in your eyes. So it's like, just end it and save this person tumultuous amount of the next 3 weeks.
It's
You know, like a
literally all it
brutal
takes.
3 weeks. So it's like, I've never really understood why people cheat. Like, I get it. There's like fundamental insecurities that
like
you
the
grew.
adrenaline partially, right?
Yeah, I think it's that, and then also just like, you know, depends on like how they were raised. My first girlfriend cheated on me like really bad, and the issue with it is she called me like several years later and was like, I was just really insecure. I didn't have any friends. I was raised in this household, and this is like why my behavior was like this. So I obviously forgave her. I mean, this was years later.
Yeah.
But it's just, it is interesting why people want to do that. I feel like sometimes it might be a product of like the relationship being too comfortable, and then they want to like spice things up, but they don't really know how to, because clearly this guy's communicative abilities are in the gutter, and he like doesn't. If he was just like, hey, like I want to be the very best, like tied up and whipped by you, and this will solve all of my insecurities in our relationship, then why not do that? You know what I mean? So
you could just buy those on Facebook Marketplace instead of a fake girlfriend.
or yeah, you know, you can go make a whatever you want to do. It's possible. Just go buy it. But I'm sorry that this happened to you, and if you are watching this, fuck him.
Yep. And you're up now.
And you're up.
You're up now.
And he's broke.
You got the baby no money seal of approval.
There it is.
All right, let's finish this story. So he broke down when I confronted him. Pathetic. He cried more than I've ever seen him cry before. He said he was going to attempt to self-unalive with me on the phone, and I had to call for help to get him medical attention over Facebook Marketplace. Jenny from the block? Come on, man. He said he couldn't imagine a world without me in it. You should have thought about that before. I am destroyed. Is my worst nightmare. I never dreamed he would do this to me. He says it was all a big mistake. But for 6 months? 6 months of phone calls and romantic exchanges, a couple of outings. So they did meet in the real
so it's in
world.
real life.
Photo exchanges, late night video calls, straight up directly lying to me and making me feel like I was crazy, gaslighting me this whole time. I can't believe it. I feel like I'm dreaming. Trust your gut. For the love of God, don't let anyone tell you you're overthinking or jealous. If you feel like something is off, it is. And that is the end of that story. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're gut checked and you're like, something is wrong, you just got to talk about it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the move.
Yeah, I mean, every single time I've had a gut feeling in a relationship historically, I've been like, something does not feel right here. And then I progressively like start crashing out more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then it just gets to a point where I'm like so unhealthy in the relationship that I'm just like, this is not healthy for me. So I just kind of give up on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely if you have any sort of feeling and it progressively gets worse, you got to just either cut it off or tell them about it. And if they don't do anything about it, you got to just ditch. Yeah. That's it.
That's the biggest enemy of that is we call the chronic people pleasing, the CPPs.
Yeah, the CPPP.
The CPPs. If you're a chronic people pleaser, you can't just push everything down. You're like, I don't need to care about that feeling.
Yeah.
Whatever. That would probably rock the boat. I used to kind of be that guy, honestly, for a while. But you just gotta, it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
Trying to be like, oh, well, I'll just put my stuff to the side. Because then it just like, I don't know, it's like this little gnarled up ball of like,
the snowball
just
effect.
bad stuff. And it just poof, like pops one day.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't take it anymore. I gotta get all this off my chest. And now it's like a avalanche instead of just like a, hey, let's have maybe a frank discussion.
Yeah.
Gotta be open to whatever could happen. Whew, all right. How are we doing, chat?
Yeah, chat. How we
doing,
feeling?
Chat? Are we goated or?
Yeah, are we goated with the sauce? Great advice. People need to listen to their gut and feelings more often.
Yeah, that guy. Guys, that's the peril of don't let the Facebook Marketplace girl join your squad and ruin your whole life. All right, we've got another story here. Let's go ahead and get into it.
My boyfriend's parents never liked me, so we broke up.
I guess you just never liked him either.
I, 23 male, have been dating my boyfriend, 23 male, for just over a year. This is my first relationship, and I am head over heels for him. By the way, this comes from optimal.8247, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon.
And OP says, the issue I'm having is with his parents. His brother and his brother's girlfriend are absolutely lovely, and I can't fault them at all. However, for the first year of our relationship, his parents didn't want anything to do with me. I have been dating my boyfriend for longer than his brother and his girlfriend have been dating, but as soon as my boyfriend's brother got into a relationship, they welcomed his girlfriend with open arms and were so excited for their relationship. She was invited to all family gatherings and parties straight away. On the other hand, for a year, I sat outside in my car waiting for my boyfriend to get ready before we did our own thing. Not once did either of his parents show any interest in me. My boyfriend told me that they didn't feel comfortable with me even coming to the door. One time, before I moved closer to where my boyfriend lives, they wouldn't let me stay over for one night. It would have been nearly a 2-hour drive home, and my boyfriend thought that it would be better for me to sleep outside in my car. Eventually, we settled on staying in a cheap hotel for the night. Better. I have dropped my boyfriend off at numerous family parties, seeing his brother's girlfriend's car parked outside, and no one even acknowledged that I had dropped him off, never mind being invited inside. When I bought my first home closer to where my boyfriend lives, again, his parents couldn't have cared less. On the other hand, when I invited my boyfriend over to meet my family, he was welcomed with open arms, and everyone was so happy to meet him. I feel like I'm the only one missing out and not being accepted. Around March this year, my boyfriend's parents decided that they wanted to meet me because his father felt sorry that I was sitting outside with no acknowledgement. I was invited into their home and accepted their invitation. When I was there, they were asking me quite condescending questions about where I lived and how I should be careful in that area. The area is fine, it's just not as prestigious as where they live. They also were asking if I do all my chores, like washing my clothes, or if my parents do them. Knowing full well that my mother passed in my teens, my father isn't in the picture. His father then offered any help that I needed with my flat, knowing that I had lived there for 6 months, and me, my grandma, and my brother, and my boyfriend worked tirelessly to make the flat now my now home. I decided to try and brush these things off. I was then ever so kindly allowed to enter my boyfriend's home a second time while picking him up because I wanted to help with his bags. Things went pretty smoothly that time. A few weeks later, it was my boyfriend's mom's birthday. I didn't expect to be invited, but it still hurt when my boyfriend told me that his mother didn't want me to be there, as she wouldn't feel comfortable keeping our relationship a secret from her family, even though we have agreed to be best bros until he comes out to his grandparents, which I'm absolutely fine with, and his grandparents are lovely. But it again showed me that she didn't accept our relationship and didn't accept me. Again, I thought for my boyfriend's sake, I'll just try my best to sweep this under the rug. Final straw is when I went to a second gathering with his parents. Towards the end of the night, his dad pulled me to the side and told me that I no longer need to sit outside of my car like a weirdo. I just nodded, said goodbye to my boyfriend, and left. It was a complete slap in the face. I feel like he was insinuating that I had chosen to sit outside of my car for a year, when in actual fact, they completely ignored me and wanted nothing to do with me.
Is that the case? Do we know that for sure? Is the boyfriend lying on you? lying to his parents?
Oh, interesting.
Because again, this should have been like the boyfriend's like, I would have.
You're on me right now.
Oh, sorry. I would have, if my partner was uncomfortable with everything, I would have stuck my neck out for them.
Yeah.
Maybe the boyfriend's like, no, OP just wants to stay in the car.
Yeah, because OP did say that the boyfriend was saying that, like, the parents didn't want them in.
Yes. Is this, again, something on the boyfriend?
That's a good conspiracy theory.
That's my conspiracy theory, because especially if, like, the dad came to, like
a weirdo.
Oh, yeah, like, that was very...
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, if we're giving the parents the benefit of a doubt, like, you know, maybe he's saying, like, you don't need to do that like a weirdo. Maybe he's saying that, like, he's now realizing, yeah, it is kind of weirdo behavior for us to make him do.
Yeah.
And maybe it just came off wrong or something like that. But I like that theory. When my boyfriend's parents went on holiday, my boyfriend invited me to stay for a few days. Once I left, my boyfriend messaged me saying that his brother was fretting about how his parents would react if they found out that I had stayed. This showed me that absolutely nothing had changed and they still don't accept my and my boyfriend's relationship. Was I right to tell my boyfriend that I have completely lost interest in wanting any kind of relationship with his parents and refuse to park outside his house to eliminate any chance of contact with them? Do you have any advice on how I should proceed? Because I find it so sad that there isn't even a foundation for a relationship between me and his parents after they ignore me for so long. We do have an update, but I'm actually so excited to see if you're right.
Yeah, there's something that's like missing here because
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just feels wrong.
It feels very wrong.
'Cause-
I feel like the boyfriend is not doing enough to
Yeah.
stand up for you, OP.
Right. And if he was okay, like if the boyfriend was suggesting that you sleep outside in your car,
What?
like and you know, if the parents were saying like, you know, maybe there's still something there, you know, maybe the parents are a little bit uncomfortable with this, and if they were saying like, well, if they were saying that the mother didn't want you there, and if the dad did pull him aside like, you don't need to do that anymore, like
Right.
you can, you know, maybe there is something right there, but yeah, maybe the boyfriend is just uncomfortable with the parents being uncomfortable and is not really considering OP's feelings around that. Do have an update. This last week has been a whirlwind of emotions. We mutually decided to break up on Wednesday last week over Snapchat. I know, not great. We didn't speak until I dropped off his belongings on Saturday. I was so surprised when he asked if we could talk. I honestly thought that he wouldn't entertain the idea of speaking to me again, not because I didn't think he loved me, but I didn't think in a million years that he would be as open as he was. I was heartbroken. I didn't think we'd even talk again, so I messaged an old friend from before me and my ex met. We had a walk and caught up, had some food, and we ended up having spicy relations. I felt nothing. It felt empty. I simply thought, this relationship is over. He'll never want to talk to me again, so I'll try to do something fun to take my mind off things. When my ex asked if we could talk on Saturday, I drove us somewhere more secluded, and he broke down. He opened up and was vulnerable and told me how much he loved me and that he was so sorry for the way that I had been treated and that he wished that he could do something about his parents, but the way that they are, they would make his home life miserable. I nearly threw up. Here was this lad that I've had all the love in the world for, and I finally had the context behind the decisions and actions that he made. I saw a past version of myself when I lived with my father in his eyes. The inability to have a safe and comfortable conversation with our parents. But I knew that we needed some time apart. I broke down too. I was fully vulnerable and open about how I felt, and we both just held each other. We got some ice cream and just sat and talked. We decided that we both needed some space and that we will continue to be friends with the possibility of getting back together if we both feel that it's right. I know that we both need some time apart to grow and develop as young adults into the lives that we are creating for ourselves, but with the context I learned when he talked, my mindset completely shifted. I want him. None of that other crap matters. The ache I felt living without being included in his family's activities is nothing compared to the hole in my heart created by his absence. By the way,
Wow.
I would feel a hole in my heart if you did not watch full episodes of more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. That's all I gotta do to fix my heart. But there is a little bit more to the story, but that makes a lot of sense, honestly.
Okay, thankfully I was wrong.
Yeah, right? Thankfully.
But, yeah, I think your boyfriend or ex-boyfriend in this case now.
Yep.
He's got a lot of figuring out to do.
Yeah.
And you don't want to wait around for that and be treated like that in the process. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to him because he's obviously hurting too, watching you being treated literally like garbage. He needs to get out of that situation, and put his foot down. But again, if he cannot do that right now, it's just walking on eggshells, and it's not fair to everyone. And including you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that does make sense. That I mean, maybe your theory could be right in a way. Like maybe the parents are, not comfortable with this, but maybe they weren't explicitly saying like, no, he has to wait outside. No, I don't want to see him. Maybe the boyfriend was scared and kind of knew that if they did see him, then they wouldn't react well, or they.
Or something
would treat him poorly.
Yeah, and I would the last few maybe things, because they're still young, they're early 20s,
right?
One, don't break up with people over Snapchat. Do it in person or a phone call if you can't really confront them.
Yeah.
But a Snapchat or like a DM is kind of like just like getting spat in the face.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
You definitely want to have these conversations in person, and since you live closer, it's a lot easier to have that happen.
Yeah, very disrespectful. And two, you, especially since you were in that situation, OP, you got to give him advice like, hey, I've been in your shoes.
Yeah, you can help him.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it may be as like a friend or someone that you see as yourself.
Exactly.
Literally. That's what I would think.
Right. There's a little bit more to the story. We have scheduled a time to hang out as friends at the end of September/early October after he is finished with his master's degree. I'm going to use this month to rejoin the gym and really get myself stuck into learning for my apprenticeship. I want to put the feelers out in a few weeks, message him subtly, but then ask one of his close friends who I got to know quite well where they think he is emotionally. I then plan to confess when I see him. I won't suffocate him with my feelings or be too clingy, but I want to tell him how much he means to me and that at a time when he feels more comfortable, I would love to give our relationship another try. So what are your thoughts? This man is such an amazing, happy, energetic, beautiful soul, and I love him. What should I do? Whilst giving us both time to grow and see what it's like without each other. And that's the end of that story.
My boyfriend spent the night at his ex's house.
Well, your house is about to be his ex's house too, I would assume.
Trigger warning for unwanted forceful advances. My boyfriend, 28 male, and his ex were together on and off for 3 years, and they broke up officially around this time last year. I, 25 female, am still friends with one of my exes, so I didn't really think anything of it when he told me he was still friends with one of his. By the way, this comes from Yodi, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, they don't hang out alone. They only hang out with their close-knit group of friends. I've met them all, and they're really nice people. I've never had any reason to doubt anything he's told me. He has been cheated on by this particular ex, and it really shook him up. Otherwise, they'd probably still be together. I don't think he would ever cheat on me or anyone else. He's just not coded that way. That said, he and I were supposed to hang out last night after work, but I couldn't get a hold of him. His phone was either turned off or the battery was passed away. Either way, my night was put on hold for hours until I finally decided to just eat out by myself. I was already dressed and ready to go, so I left, grabbed some pho, and came home to find 0 texts or calls from him. I had left my phone at home by accident. He didn't get back to me, nor did he stop by the apartment, according to my roommate. On a whim, I popped onto Instagram to see what he was doing, if he had posted anything that day. I was partially worried something bad had happened to him and partially suspicious. I've never had any reason to feel suspicious of him before. As I scrolled through Instagram, however, I noticed that his ex had posted something. For whatever reason, I follow her and she follows me. The photo was taken at his favorite restaurant. She took a photo of her dessert, and you could clearly see him in the background, seated across from her, his elbows on the table.
Oh, that means he's at attention. Elbows on the table. He's leaning forward. He's
It also
like,
means
tell
he's
me
got
more.
no manners. Elbows on the table
Ooh.
during dinner.
Ooh.
Maybe he's a little tired. I don't know.
Mannerless.
She made the post hours before he and I were supposed to hang out. In the image description, she mentions having a movie night, ... with him. One of their friends whom I've grown close to commented with a question mark. There was no reply. I was kind of numb at that point. I wasn't sure what it meant, but I knew he was doing something he shouldn't have been, and that he had blown me off in the process. Again, this was completely unlike him. It could have been that he simply forgot our plans. We organized it a week prior, which is long enough to forget. That said, I'm his girlfriend. He should remember. He should at least make sure he's reachable. I went to bed last night feeling sick with worry, and when I woke up this morning, I found 5 texts from him saying the following. Hey, sorry, I forgot we had plans. Kathy and I marathoned Westworld and I fell asleep. My phone passed away. I'm an idiot. Please forgive me.
You marathoned Westworld?
Kathy's the ex? You're marathoning HBO television with your ex?
And Westworld?
Marathoning any series.
Dude, do you know how many naked ladies are in Westworld?
Do you? Like,
Lot
do you
of
have an
naked
exact
ladies.
count of the naked ladies in any
7.
given show?
7.
I don't know.
Several.
I've only seen the first season of Westworld.
My magician's talent is knowing all of the nudie people in every single show.
And this show...
No, do your eye flutter. Do your eye flutter.
30. How
From
about I
what?
pick you up tonight and we go to that new sushi place on Main? Just you and I. I love you. I don't really know what to think. He has always made a point to never hang out with her alone. Westworld can't wait, OP.
I'm not doing a single thing until I finish all of Westworld with my ex-girlfriend.
He hasn't made any promises to me in explicit words, but when he and I first got together, he told me things between him and Kathy were completely finished and that he had no desire to hang out with her alone anymore.
To be fair, it really could just be, because the first season of Westworld is that good.
It's pretty good.
Just be like, every time I was like, this is the last episode. Oh, the ending was so good. I had to watch the next one.
I couldn't stop. He said the only reason they still occasionally see each other is because they're part of the same social circle. It's the same with my ex and me, except I've never hung out with him one-on-one post-breakup.
Yeah.
And I don't plan on it. I replied asking if anything happened between them, and he said, no, of course not. I would never do that to you. But he would make himself unavailable for hours without even thinking to say hi to me all day. Our plans were for 8 o'clock. Unless he's had a rough day at work, he usually stays up much later than that. Except he didn't have work yesterday. So I don't understand how he would magically fall asleep so early in the night. I trust him, but at the same time, I feel betrayed and I need advice. And there are some relevant comments, but what do you think?
I think any universe in which your current partner that had an on-again, off-again thing with their ex for 3 years, then spends the night without telling you and then tries to be like, oh yeah, we were just watching Westworld. That's like, hey, you've used all 3 strikes at the same time and you were
Truly,
done.
regardless of whether or not you cheated, which it seems like OP does not. He think he cheated, so we're going to operate on that. He still completely betrayed your trust. Like, you guys were on the same page about hanging out with the ex alone. Clear that he, violated your agreement.
It just speaks to some level of like intention or like,
yeah.
I don't know, like it's just weird.
Yeah.
Like I maintain like a positive relationship with like some of my exes, but I would never be like, oh yeah, I spent the night at my ex's place and we watched Westworld all night and I didn't text you and I forgot. Oh, oops, let's go get sushi.
Yeah, when we had plans.
Yeah.
That's the kicker. They already had plans together. So it wasn't even just that he spent the night at his ex. He did it instead of with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Relevant comments. Suki says, yeah, I don't believe a word of his explanation. He has no desire to hang out with her alone anymore, and yet that's exactly what he did. He went on a date with his ex and slept over at her place. Unacceptable. OP says, exactly. Suki says, what do you think you're going to do? OP says, I'm meeting up with him right now. I just want to talk to him in person and gauge the situation for my own sanity. Right now, it looks bad. Unless he has superpowers, I can't see him giving me a valid reason for what happened. Spending the night with his ex, switching his phone off, and neglecting to contact me until the next day? No, that's not how relationships work. Onion Princess says, Kathy left his elbows in the picture on purpose. She knows what's up. OP says, good thing she's petty, or else I'd never have realized where he was. Throwaway says, what was his explanation? OP says he said he genuinely forgot we were supposed to hang out and didn't go into the evening thinking he was going to cheat, but he did.
Yeah. Of course he did. Spend the night with your ex.
Oh.
You spent the night with your ex.
Alone.
Oh.
Alone. The word alone. If it was like with a group of people, still bad.
No,
but...
he's admitting.
Oh.
That's why I'm shocked, because we just got the admitting in a comment.
Oh, wow.
But he did. Then he cried in front of me begging for forgiveness. I promptly gathered my stuff and left, blocking and deleting him from my phone. It took me a good hour to get the truth out of him. So yeah, he cheated for sure.
Well, you're the one with the superpowers, OP. You had an hour-long like police interrogation. And you cracked him.
Mm-hmm.
You were a good cop, then bad cop.
Glimmering Girl says shame on him for wasting an hour more of your time to pull it out of him. Glad you got the truth now. You may feel numb right now, but don't be surprised if the feelings catch up later. And OP says, thanks. This is the first time someone has ever cheated on me, so I'm kind of numb at the moment. Probably when I have to go to my brother's wedding alone this Saturday. Yikes. And there is an update 10 days later. And we're going to get into that because he cheated on you. So there's really nothing else to say about that. Leave him.
You can always automatically assume that's what happened.
Yeah.
Honestly. And if it didn't, it's like, well, we're breaking up anyway.
Yeah, it's still not okay.
What on earth is wrong with you thinking that is in any way, shape, or form okay?
He doesn't deserve to binge Westworld.
I hope that you get locked out of your account. 10 days later, I did not think I'd be posting an update, but so much had happened. My ex-boyfriend did cheat on me with Kathy, his ex, and I did break up with him. For a few days, he left me alone. Then last weekend, on the day of my brother's wedding, he decided it was wise to crash the reception.
Why?
He showed up in a full suit, made nice with some extended family of mine, and sought me out as I slipped away to use the bathroom. You won't believe how shocked and unsettled I was. I had blocked and deleted him from everything when I broke up, so I guess this was a last-ditch effort. Why he thought crashing my brother's wedding was a good idea, I have no clue. Regardless, I immediately told him to leave or I would tell the groomsmen to escort him out. He didn't seem fazed. He just grabbed my arms and said clearly, "I can't survive without you. Seems like you were handling Westworld just fine." He looked me in the eyes and held on so tight it hurt. Oh my goodness. I went from unsettled to flat out scared. I told him I had nothing to say and that he needed help, but he acted like he couldn't hear me. He leaned in as if to kiss me, and when I turned my head away, he broke down crying, full on sobbing in the middle of the hallway. One of the groomsmen came around, recognized him, assessed the situation, and peeled him off. He didn't call the police. He said, "Listen, man, I've been there, but you can't do this. You gotta go home." For whatever reason, my ex listened. He left in a cab a couple of minutes later. I explained the situation to the groomsmen in detail. We decided to tell my brother after the fact so as not to ruin the day. Fast forward to last night. A week later, I was at home talking to my roommate when I got a call from an unknown number. It wasn't him. It was Kathy, the girl he cheated with. Apparently, after I broke up with him, they got back together. Yoicks. She called to confirm that he had crashed my brother's wedding. I politely asked her not to contact me again. She then screamed, called me names, accusing me of cheating with him. Girl, take a look in the mirror, girl. Come on.
Go watch season 2 of Westworld.
How dare you cheat with my ex-boyfriend's... Wait, he's my boyfriend.
It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't even make sense.
And insulting me. I have no idea what he told her, but nothing happened between us at the wedding. He tried to kiss me. I didn't accept it, and he got kicked out. By the way, we're not kicking you out of listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Block and move on.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the whole
And if you need it,
list of things to do.
if he keeps doing that, if he keeps showing up at places you don't want him at, restraining order. But there is a little bit left. People are now saying she's pregnant with his kid. It's a whole bunch of crazy, and I'm glad I don't have to deal with it anymore. The fact that he convinced me he was decent for 5 straight months is embarrassing. I can empathize with him in his bad place, but this is too much. I'm gonna get tested soon just in case, and hopefully I can put this relationship behind me. And final comments when asked about the groomsman who saved her. OP says, "He's single, and we may or may not have danced together most of the night."
Okay.
Before and after my ex crashed the party, lol. That said, I'm not looking at the moment. Let's just say I need a breather. Sentient Cactus says, well, breaks can be the best, but as my mother always told me, don't throw away something if it tries to organically grow. I mean, you're making the right move, not jumping into anything, but don't work against it either. OP says, true. He asked if I want to grab brunch next Sunday. My roommate thinks I should get my head out of my butt and go. I want to, I really do. But I've only been single for a week and a half, lol. I was gotta give it a few months at least. And that's the end of that story. Always be careful about jumping into things, but I don't know, just be careful.
Yeah, I mean,
Not doing anything wrong, it's just is your heart ready? But that's the end of that story, folks.
My boyfriend exposed my mental condition to a party full of people.
Hey, that's private.
I, 20 female, have a well-controlled mental condition that I am very private about. I take 2 separate medications twice a day, every 12 hours, and for the most part, it does not affect my daily life. Luckily, I have a fantastic doctor who worked with me to experiment with medications until I found a combination that worked for me with minimal side effects. I'm just saying this to demonstrate that this is not a significant issue in my life anymore, and it is not necessary for many people to know. By the way, this comes from user, I am not crazy, okay? And if you want to submit your stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Angie.
And I'm Blurry.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't always have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. As OP says, I started dating my boyfriend, 23 male, almost a year ago, and he has been great, just a little dopey. He's not a subtle person and can't keep a secret to save his life. So even though I told him before we started dating that I have this condition that is well controlled and I don't really like people to know about it, he went ahead and told his parents. I was pissed, but told him not to tell anyone else, and we got through it. Well, last weekend we went to one of his friends' parties, and while they all got wasted, I sipped on a soda. Many of his friends were concerned that I wasn't drinking and kept saying stuff like, "It's okay that you're underage. You could still have a brewski. Want me to make you a cocktail?" I was starting to become uncomfortable with the comments when my boyfriend, in his infinite wisdom, decides to announce, "Oh, she's not drinking because it affects your medication." Okay. Well, now I'm pretty pissed, but whatever. No one really mentioned it further. Well, then a little later, my alarm goes off, and my boyfriend, who was wasted by now, literally yells to me, "Hey, babe, it's time to take your crazy pills."
Oh. Two mistakes there. One, making it public. Two, calling them crazy pills.
Yeah, just not really. And none of that was right at all.
No.
That was all wrong.
Yeah.
He turns to the other people and goes, "Yeah, she has condition and has to take pills for it." I just stared at him. I could not believe that he would do this to me. I just met some of these people, and now they all know something incredibly personal about me that is nobody's dang business. I hate the way people treat me after they find out, like I'm unhinged or damaged or something. I don't want anybody's pity. It's effing well controlled, for goodness sake. I grabbed his keys and went to the car, and he followed me asking what was wrong. You know what's wrong, buddy.
Come on, dude.
You shouted to the whole party she's taking crazy pills.
Yeah.
Which is
Come on.
not the way you address your girlfriend who has mental health issues that are being well controlled by medication. I didn't say anything. I just drove us home and haven't really talked to him since, even though he's been apologizing profusely. Is this something I can even forgive him for? Should I? What should I do here? Seriously, I'm so upset and angry. He had no right. Edit, we broke up. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. No one can really tell you what you should do or what you are okay with forgiving. But honestly, I would just break up with that guy because why would you speak on me this way?
Why?
Why would you do that other than a complete lack of respect or care?
Right.
Or you just do think I'm crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like I could get forgetting about it in a moment. If you just didn't think it was that big of a deal, like if she was just embarrassed about it and you were like, "Oh no, like everyone will be fine," and then you accidentally mention it, I could get that mistake, but like does not seem to be his thought process behind it, especially since he called him crazy pills. So yeah,
It's over.
It's over, dude.
We've got some comments. Ann Rose says, if my boyfriend called out, "Time to take your crazy pills" at a party, I'd probably dump him. OP replies, "Yeah, that pissed me off to no end." And then he pulled that crap and literally told them the condition. And this is like a well-known condition that is pretty much automatically associated with being crazy. Princess Programmer says, "Wow, that was incredibly insensitive. I suffer from depression, but it's getting to the point where that's not really taboo anymore. I can't imagine if my boyfriend blurted out something super personal to a room full of people. Girl, you deserve better." OP says, "Yeah, I couldn't even believe it. Like, we have been to parties before, and I have seen him enjoy the drinky poos before, and he didn't do anything like that. I think maybe it was because some old friends of his were there, and they were really, how do I put this, immature and making really insensitive jokes. Like, these guys were loud and noisy, and I didn't like them at all. I especially didn't like how my boyfriend was acting around them." And there's an edit. Not that this is an excuse. What he did was so crappy. I'm so effing pissed at him. Red Mink 17 says, "Yeah, that makes it worse. So he turned into an a-hole at your expense just because he wanted to fit in with his a-hole friends. You are well shot of him." OP says, "I know. I was really bothered by his behavior. He knows I get anxiety in loud environments too. Before we went, he was like, 'Don't worry, everyone there is super chill.'" Yeah, right. OP says, "Sometimes he calls them my crazy pills at home and I just elbow him to shut up. But to say something like that at a party where he knows that I don't like people to know about my condition was beyond out of line. Not a real rabbit," which is exactly what a real rabbit would make their username if they wanted you to not know they were a rabbit.
We see right through you.
They say, "I'm glad you've cleared out. But I just want to say, if it was bothering you even at home, he should have cut that right out. I think it was sort of like a, shut up, like, don't
Like,
come
oh, you
on,
crazy
so
pills.
get
Yeah.
out of here.
That's what I would do if Riley said that to
Yeah,
me.
it wasn't like a, shut up,
Stop it. Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about them that way, if you find it helpful, that's one thing, but it's not something he gets to decide is hilarious and impose on you. OP says, yeah, I'm going to put a definite end to that if it happens with the next guy. I have a sense of humor. I just don't have a sense of humor about that. Oh, I guess I was wrong. There's an update from 11 days later. All right. I bet you it's going to be full of groveling and
Yeah.
boo-hoo.
I think
don't
so.
know why you're so mad. Please hold my hand and give me a hug and take me back. I'm your boyfriend. Ooh.
I think that's like word for word what we're about to read.
Yeah. Update 11 days later. Before I went back on Saturday to get my stuff, I texted my ex to let him know and said if he wanted to talk, that would be the time to do it. He said okay, but when we got there, he wasn't there. So we packed everything up, and I officially moved back home. He tried reaching out to me via text a couple times, but I told him I was really hurt he decided not to be there. I guess I still kind of wanted to salvage things, and that I had nothing more to say to him. I blocked him to resist temptation. Now, the exciting part of the update. I had gotten a Facebook request from one of our mutual friends who was also at the party. She told me that she thought my ex was a butt for what he did and told me that she had GAD and would unalive her boyfriend who was also there if he was ever to pull something like that. We had a long and nice conversation and she invited me out to the movies with her boyfriend and his brother. And by the way, you'd be my brother if you listen to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I don't care what it is. Just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to an endless waterfall of stories just like this. And there is some more story left here.
Mm-hmm.
Good job on the blocking. We recognized we
Yeah.
would be tempted. Good job on the blocking. We got the block in there.
That's your blocking.
What a little baby boy not being there when
Yeah.
he said he would be.
Good
He was
job.
afraid.
Good job.
Afraid of you.
That was very smart of you to do, and I'm glad you did it.
Yes.
Good job.
And yes, Whitney Anderson, GAD is generalized anxiety disorder, I believe. Or general or generalized? I don't know.
Means
But
the
that
same
is.
thing either way, pretty much.
That is. Okay, let's finish this story. I went to the movies, and guess what? His brother and I totally hit it off. He's pretty shy, and I didn't realize it then, but I guess they were trying to hook us up. Anyway, I'm not sure how I feel about dating a guy younger than me. He's 19 and turns 20 in December, but who knows? It hasn't been long since we broke up, though, so if we do get together, it probably won't be soon. But as of now, I have a coffee/study date with him next Friday. Smiley face.
Okay.
Thank you for everyone who commented on my original post. You may not have known it, but everyone sharing your stories really helped me and kept me strong when I wanted to text him every night. And there are some more comments here. Comment 1 is, the update is hilarious. I don't know how to feel about dating a guy younger than me. He's 19, almost 20. Girl, you're 20. It's not like you're out of college. It's literally the same with my husband. I'm 8 months older than him. There's literally nothing different except for me being a cougar for 8 months out of the year. Jokes. Comment 2, I feel this. I have schizophrenia since I was about 17. I'm 39 now. I'm very well medicated and live a perfectly normal life. You'd never know if I didn't tell you. When I was younger, I would have evaporated if someone told a whole room, but now I'm nearly 40 and I just own it. I don't go out shouting it, but if it comes up, I'll say it. It's mostly when people are talking about bad stereotypes, and I'm like, actually, I feel for this lass, and I hope she can learn to own it and not feel embarrassed for having a condition you can't control. Like I told my nibblings when they asked about my meds, Auntie's brain is just wired differently. A lot of people's are. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
It's true.
Right. Comment 3 says, I take prescribed medication twice a day to stop my brain from going overdrive. My wife basically forced me to go to the doctor for it because I was passing out for getting really angry. It has helped me so much, and she has never told anyone about it, no matter how annoyed she may get with me, because she knows something should remain personal. I could never imagine her betraying my trust like that. Meanwhile, this guy thinks it's funny to do it and then acts oblivious. Wasted people speak sober thoughts. And that is the end of that story. My boyfriend steals my skills and ideas to look cool, and I finally had enough.
I want to be the cool one. Hey.
I, 24 female, know this sounds dramatic, but hear me out. I don't think I would have really noticed it if we weren't both working from home and living together, but my boyfriend, 29 male, constantly copies things that I say and do and repeats them to friends and coworkers as if they are his original ideas. And it's not that he repeats them, but 99% of the time he does it with things that when I say them, he argues with me about. By the way, this comes from use a throwaway fox of mystery. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/showcase storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
I'm Keon.
And we are here to give you good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just a cadre of little goofballs. So let us know what you would do in the comments, and we'll let you know what we'd do right now. As OP says. Example 1. We watched a TV show on Netflix a couple of months ago. I brought up that while I liked it, it had some pretty problematic stuff regarding the way it treated women and the LGBTQ plus women in particular. I'm bi. He really argued with me and wrote off the things I brought up, making excuses regarding how Hollywood is and saying I was being too sensitive or overly critical. The next day, I heard him in our living room talking to his friends on Skype about it. He brought up my exact points, using my exact wording as if it was his own idea. I enjoyed it, but I try to be sensitive about the issue, and this was something I noticed, that type of thing.
What? I'm sorry. I was prepared for him to be like, crap talking OP behind her back.
Yeah.
But he's just trying to seem like he agrees?
I guess. Maybe he really changed his mind. So they praised him for his progressive thinking, and it rubbed me the wrong way, but I tried to forget about it. This sort of thing has happened over and over, like multiple times a week. Sometimes it's movies, sometimes it's a book I'm reading, sometimes it's life advice regarding work. I started noticing it, and now I don't think we've had a similar argument without him later repeating what I say to other people like it's his idea. Sometimes it has to do with things I know a lot about. For instance, very specific skills that I have, but he doesn't. He'll talk to people as if he has those skills and has done those things when he's talking about things he's seen me do. Example 2. The last straw came when I made him a special dish that I love, and the recipe is one I developed over years. It's very time-consuming, but he loved it. He asked me to make more, and I did because I was pleased that he liked it. I spent a whole afternoon doing it and made some extra so he could take some with him to a work meeting to share. He told me he would brag about what a talented girlfriend he had, and it made me feel really happy. The day after, I heard him in a Zoom meeting with his coworkers, and they were all talking about how good the dish was. They kept talking about how surprised they were he was such a good cook, and how he'd have to cook more for them. He was acting very humble, saying thank you, and even mentioning ways he had perfected the recipe.
Wow.
The only mention of other help was that he offhandedly said a friend had helped him with some of the prep work.
Bro, this is not cool, dude.
No, I'm honestly breaking up with this person over this.
100%. 100%. This is a problem in and of itself, of course. But then also, if he can lie about that so easily, what can he lie to you about so easily?
It's just like you're I don't like you anymore, you sick little freak. Why would you make these lies?
You just suck.
Later, I told him that I overheard him and what he had said. At first, he got really defensive. He told me that he was caught off guard, and then afterward, he came clean to them, although I didn't hear that part. I told him it made me feel bad. Also, he's lying to you. I was unappreciated, and it took away things that I love and am proud of about myself. Then he got upset and said that he just hates feeling like a failure or like he can't do something, and he felt like a terrible person for hurting me. He apologized, but I felt like the conversation had kind of turned into one about him and his vulnerabilities and no longer about how it had hurt me. Now, I've heard him do similar things multiple times, again. I feel like it's ridiculous to bring it up again because it will start a fight that won't mean anything, but it's making me crazy. Am I being too sensitive? Should I just let it go, or is it worth bringing up again? And if so, how? Honestly, and there's an update 5 weeks later. Please,
oh no,
please, if this is a thing that has happened over and over and over again, I don't know how long you've been dating, but break up with this man.
Break up with this man, he sucks.
But we have an update.
5 weeks later, after reading all your comments, I didn't want to jump to conclusions based on things strangers on the internet said, but certain things really gave me pause. I realized that the problem was much bigger than the issue I had originally posted about.
Ruh-roh.
I'd been writing off some things in my relationship that had already given me some concerns, but I blamed them on my anxiety or insecurity. I won't go into them for the sake of length. Things really began to click when I took people's advice to look up gaslighting and NPD. So I began to take notes of these small things and also do a little digging. Mostly, I began to realize I was being gaslit, a term I didn't understand before posting here. Yeah, you did. You totally did. What are you talking about? And you were being lied to. The biggest concern of all was I found out that he manipulated me and created a fake crisis that made me think my old living situation was in jeopardy, which was the reason I moved in with him.
Say that one more time.
He somehow convinced her that she was going to lose her previous living situation by manufacturing a fake crisis of some kind.
Oh,
which is
my
why
God.
he moved in, or she moved in with him.
That is so wild.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
I can't go into more details, or someone will definitely identify me, but I had been unsure about moving in with him, and that crisis had pushed me over the edge. And now I realize it was how he controlled me and isolated me from my friends. Suffice it to say, at that moment I was ready to leave. But now that I knew how far he would go, I was scared to break up with him until I had an escape plan. So I decided to write everything that happened so I couldn't be gaslit anymore. As soon as I made that decision, it's like things just fell into my lap. I found out that he was constantly looking up exes and girls he had met on dating apps in the past, parentheses, many of whom were friends with me, end parentheses, on social media. He let me use his laptop and I saw his Facebook search history. Some light digging revealed that he was receiving flirtatious messages from girls, and while nothing overt happened, he definitely avoided mentioning he was in a relationship while talking to them. I caught him texting the girl who he talked to before me, which had ended badly, and trying to reconnect, even though she didn't want to. She told him to F off and ended up blocking him and even deleting most of her social media. I never found out why they didn't work out, but I'm guessing he was an a-hole. And then, completely by accident, I was messaged by one of his female friends whom I had met a couple times. Turns out they had met on a dating app and had gone on 3 dates while he and I were together early in our relationship.
Oh my God.
And he would totally tell you, like, no, babe, we weren't dating.
Yeah.
That was just like, we weren't even dating yet. What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Or what? Friends aren't allowed to hang out?
Yeah.
What?
He would try to pull some BS like that.
Totally.
We compared texts and found evidence of him lying to both of us and gaslighting me. There's even a chain where I mention he's being cold to me and asking if something is wrong, and he convinces me that it was my anxiety making me read too much into things again, all while texting me from his date with her.
Oh.
Even more small stuff I won't go into. Yesterday, I found a temporary place to live. Today, I broke up with him after laying all the crappy things he did out in front of him. He lied multiple times, even during that conversation. He didn't know I had receipts and proof, and boy, did his tune change when I pulled that out. He tried to convince me that all of it meant nothing, and made me feel sorry for him by talking about his childhood and how he has insecurity issues. I told him that we all have issues, and you're one of mine, is what I would have said. Oh, I would have said that. I told him that we all have issues, and while that explains his behavior, it doesn't excuse it. He can't use trauma as an excuse to traumatize others. By the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. Just search OK Storytime wherever you listen, and you can listen to us tell you crazy stories all day long.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just a little bit left. I'm glad you're leaving. Too often we have these stories where they're just like, I think I'll maybe leave.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
Hard. And you did it. It's a hard situation to get out of, and you're freaking doing it.
Yeah.
And you should be so incredibly proud of that.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for your
doing
service.
that. And thank you to the comment section of your Reddit post for making you Google the term gaslighting.
Oh, yeah. It's an important one to know. It's very common to use.
I told him he can stay in our apartment, but he can't talk to me. I don't want to interact with him, and after we move, I want him out of my life completely. I found a place to live, although it's smaller and farther from work, but I'll do whatever it takes to get out. I can move on the 1st of November. Birthday! It has low-key messed me up a bit. I never had trust issues before, and I feel like I am completely doubting my own judgment. No, don't be doubting your own. You judged so accurately now. Now you know. You know now. I was so sure of myself before, but I know once I'm out that things will be better, and I feel like that is a weight off my shoulders, and that is the end of that story.
My boyfriend dreads the idea of proposing to me.
Wow, that's a hard one.
I am a 30 female and I have been with my 39 male boyfriend for 8 years. I do not want kids and he supports this, but I would like to be married soon. We have been open with each other about wanting to get married since day one, and we have lived together for 4.5 years. At the 4-year mark, I brought up getting engaged, and he said it wasn't the right time because once engaged, he wants us to be married within a year. However, he felt like things were too busy with work, etc. By the way, this comes from Blue Ams, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, then the next year I brought it up again, and same thing. A year after that, we were talking about rings, and I showed him the $1,500 ring I wanted on Etsy. He liked the design, and I sent him the link, but I didn't set a timeline or anything. But he seemed hesitant and said he wanted a perfect proposal. I told him it doesn't need to be an extravagant proposal and could be very simple. Last year, I brought up this topic again, and he said the proposal was too much pressure, and he would rather skip ahead to the wedding.
What? How does this guy exist in real life? What do you mean?
I really don't want to ask you to marry me. I think we should just get married.
Yeah, I think working is too much pressure. Can we skip to getting a promotion, please?
I think we should just skip all of it. We're just married now.
Oh, no. Watching the game is too much. I'm going to skip to the end and just see the score. It's too much.
So even though I didn't completely understand his hang-up, he's very confident and not an anxious man, I started looking up wedding venues and getting excited. Then he shut it down and said it was too much and to ask him in 6 months.
What?
She's not asking you, buddy. You're supposed to ask her.
What's going to be different 6 months from now? You've been together for 8 years. Or was it even longer?
8 years.
If you don't know, I think you would by now.
I waited 12 months because he got injured around the 6 months mark. Lately, he's been having more issues with me. He doesn't like my new hiking and backpacking hobby. It feels like I don't prioritize him, saying he's an afterthought and that this was an issue in his last long-term relationship too, and bringing up problems that I thought we solved from years ago. We're bringing up our last long-term relationship after 8 years.
Yeah, like you are your guys' last long-term relationship
Right,
now.
like we're currently in it.
Come on. He was the best guy around.
I feel like I am a great girlfriend, but he has high expectations. I'm starting individual therapy to work on myself because I'm feeling like I'm not good enough, etc. Last week, I brought up engagement and marriage in couples therapy and how I'm worried he's not going to commit to me because he isn't happy and has all these issues with me. He got super upset and defensive and said he's dreading the proposal but excited to be married to me. He said he'd go to the courthouse tomorrow, but he basically said there will not be a proposal. I even said he could propose on the couch at home, but I just wanted him to ask. I don't want to ask him. He even brought up an excuse saying I don't like to wear rings. Which is true because I work with my hands for my job, but I've said for many years that I will wear the engagement and wedding rings, but maybe put a silicone ring on at work.
This is insane. This guy's acting like he's like a 5-year-old. He's like,
I don't want to do it.
he just said something, and then now it's like imagine like a 5-year-old who hadn't had ice cream, or like so I don't know. It's just because he said like, oh, I can't do it. And now you're like, you can literally just do, like, it's too much pressure. I can't do it. You can do it on the couch.
You're
I don't like rings.
You're already telling this man that you will be saying yes. so there shouldn't be any pressure.
Yeah.
Like, you have your answer already. He's like, I'll marry you tomorrow, but I just can't ask you to marry me. I
That's
can't
ridiculous, dude.
Our therapist suggested we should try focusing on just the marriage part. It was a really frustrating conversation. I appreciate my boyfriend reassuring me that he wants to be with me and is serious about marrying me. But after I waited another year to bring this up and then to have him get so mad and make excuses, I'm really questioning things. I know he loves me, and I have accepted that he is stubborn, but I don't think I'm being unreasonable for wanting a proposal. It hurts to hear that he's dreading the proposal. Plus, it's a tough pill to swallow knowing there won't be a proposal when I made it clear I want one. I'm in a weird spot because now anything I do or say moving forward in relation to wedding planning will feel like I'm forcing him. How should I proceed? Going to the courthouse after all of this doesn't feel right, but maybe I need to change my mindset. I also do not think he will take initiative and ask me to go to the courthouse. On Reddit, I see other couples skipping the proposal, eloping, and being happy in their marriage. But I've also seen a lot of posts advising women to leave the relationship. I have some friends saying to just let go of the proposal, and other friends saying my boyfriend's on thin ice. Looking for some kind and honest advice, thank you. And we have some comments, but what's your kind and honest advice?
I think you just go, all right, hey, you don't want to propose? We're not getting married. Fine, I know you want to be married so bad, we're not going to do it without a proposal.
Yeah.
Same way that you're not going to propose. Fine, I'm not going to get married without a proposal. Boom. Guess we're not getting married.
That one kind of just goes back to OP again, though, because OP wants to get married.
Are you sure? But like, if this guy refuses to propose to you, will you get married to this guy? No.
I think it's
so
just
I don't
crazy.
think that's. I don't know if that's in the cards.
Crazy that you're asking him to do something and you literally told him that he can do the like simplest, easiest. You can sit on the couch next to me and ask me and I will say yes and that will be enough. And he's like, I can't do that.
Yeah, but now you're telling me to do it now. I can't do it. I can't do it. I've been told that you would like it, so I won't do it.
Comments. Aggravating ad 8150 says, sorry OP, but I'm not liking the looks of this. You've been very clear about what you want, but instead of finding ways to give it to you, your boyfriend is stalling, making excuses, and breadcrumbing you by saying he wants marriage but do nothing about it. All he's offering is a perfunctory courthouse marriage, and it's clear that you'd like at least a little more nice proposal ring, which isn't unreasonable. You're being shut down and put on the defensive when you try to discuss this with him. You're making yourself smaller and asking for less and less, trying to appease him. And now after 4.58 years...
4.5, 8 years.
4.5...
After 44 years.
Suddenly he's finding all sorts of faults with you. And they edited to update the timeline. So I guess that was 4.5 updated to 8 years. Ask yourself, are these actions of a loving partner? Not in my book, they aren't. And we have a judgment of not the a-hole. And an update 6 weeks later, and I did accidentally read the first sentence.
I didn't.
Great, then you give us your advice and guess where this is going.
Divorce.
They're not married.
Pre-divorce.
Divorce! They get married and they break up immediately.
I think it really is telling, though. Like, I think this is, and it's very common, I think, in very long-term, like, comfortable relationships, and one party maybe is like, I'm done, but they just can't say it because they're like afraid, or they're whatever you want to call it.
They're 8 years in. I feel like they start to feel obligations. Like,
yeah,
this is just something that I have to do now.
So at this point, this guy's like, I'm not going to propose. And no, his excuse is like, because it'd just be too much. But it feels like the real reason is because he's like, because I can't be married to you.
I also see a lot of commenters being like, why does it always have to be the man who asks? It doesn't, but when your partner comes to you and expresses, this is something that I've really looked forward to, and this is something that I feel that I really want and would like make me really happy and be something that I would personally need to go forward with it, then it's really not that hard of a thing to do. She told you could do it sitting on the couch. Like, she's not asking for you to spend like a ton of elaborate, crazy proposal
this isn't about him having to ask because he's the man. It's about him having to ask because she's like, it's just, I just would like it.
Right.
And it's like,
I'm not asking you to ask me on a trip to the moon. I'm asking you to ask me on the couch.
Right. It's like this is a tiny thing that would mean so much to your partner and make you just like, it's an easy thing to make someone really happy. Why would you not just do that?
It's like if your partner asks you to get a glass of water for them. It's like, well, why do I have to go get the glass of water? Why you can't go get your own glass of water? It's like, well, I could, but I just asked you. I don't know.
Me and Angie read a story like that recently. Update 6 weeks later, and we broke up 2 weeks ago. I did call his bluff, but he said he wanted to ask my dad for permission and not elope right away.
8 years? You've never asked permission?
You didn't think about that because she also at one point was like, fine, I'll give you 6 months. I even ended up giving him a whole year. You had the time. That's when you're...
Again, it's just the guy wants to say anything except becoming the bad guy and being like, hey, I actually don't think this is working and I want to break up and now I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
And what is it? It has a name. I think it's like rug pulling, where it's like you never let any of your dissatisfaction show in a relationship until it just gets to a point where you're just like, I can't do this. And then it's like, what? And it comes out of absolutely nowhere and you can't really fix it.
Rini says, so if he said, I would just really like if you changed your last name and it meant a ton to him, would we push her to do it? I don't see why that also couldn't be I think that if it's something either way that would make someone happy, that's totally a fair and valid discussion that you have with your partner about all that stuff.
Yeah. And even that, it's like you can hyphenate.
There's options for everything. And I think that if it's something small and easy like that, sure, do it.
You can't hyphenate a proposal. Imagine they just both propose at the exact same moment.
I've seen that happen before.
Aww.
I had a friend that proposed to her girlfriend, and the girlfriend reached into her backpack and pulled out a ring back and was like, I was gonna do it this trip.
That's
know
so
me
cute.
first.
It was really cute. The next morning, I had a bad gut feeling about eloping and felt like I was pressuring him into it. When I told him how I was feeling, he said, either we elope or you'll have to wait until I say I'm ready to start planning a wedding. But that didn't feel right. There were also other issues going on in the relationship, which a lot of people highlighted in the comments as the main problem here. I started to really reflect on those issues and wrote a pros and cons list. I was wearing rose-colored glasses and saw how many red flags I ignored. Long story short, he confronted me about being distant and asked if I want to break up. I said yes. And then he gaslit me into thinking problems I listed were not problems. He said he would do anything to stay with me and even said he would propose. I love it when you are finally like, okay, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Here's a list of reasons why. And they're like, wait. I know you've been trying to get me to do all these things and we've talked about this so many times, but now that you're like serious and you're breaking up with me, I really think I can do all those things for you.
Yeah. Like I would do anything with you or to keep you, but I'm starting now. Starting now, I would do anything.
I would do anything to keep you right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And later, I won't.
Right.
But
like right now, I'm really worried about that.
Right now, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
But don't ask me in 2 weeks.
Then a week later, he broke up with me and tried to blame me for how things were falling apart. That's not where I thought that was going. We just had to read one more sentence.
Oh no.
I
moved.
moved.
No. That's honestly, I'm sorry, but like, I'm glad you learned that lesson that you shouldn't just once you decide and you break up with someone and they say, I'll do all the things that would make us that you don't get back together with that person.
Yeah.
You don't.
I moved out of our apartment and left him the cats and all the furniture. Around the same time, I was offered a travel job in a mountain town close to some national parks and took it.
Ooh.
It has been incredibly painful to grieve this relationship, but I truly do believe the saying, if he wanted to, he would. In the end, we were incompatible. He didn't know how I changed over the years and had made me feel like I was the problem. I am now working on rebuilding my self-worth, and I am going to hike and backpack all summer.
Excellent.
By the way, all summer, fall, winter, and spring, you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this.
And you don't even have to hike there.
You don't. They'll just come to you on your favorite podcast app. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, anywhere. Search up OK Storytime. We've got just a little bit left, but good for you, OP.
Hey, now you know. Now you know when you've been with someone for 8 years and they refuse to propose to you and you want to be married, it's not sustainable. There you go. He's like, I'll go to the courthouse right now. What is that? What was that?
That was the weird part.
That is the weird part that he said that.
He's like, I
probably would've
really like,
annulled
I
it in a
won't
week."
propose. I will not propose. I refuse to ask you to marry me. What if we went down to the courthouse right now, though?
Yeah.
Got married. I'm not asking you, though. Like, I'm not proposing this. But, like, we just ended up at the courthouse. Could be kind of fun.
I wonder if he was saying that because he knew that she didn't want to do that. So he was just saying it to, like, make it look like he wanted to marry her, but knew that she wouldn't, like, go through with that.
I could see it being like, I'm stringing you along. Like, I'm offering this.
Yeah, like,
I know you
see?
don't want a courthouse marriage, but I'll marry you.
It's like, well, I offered. I said I would do this, but you didn't want to do that.
I could see it.
Perhaps.
We've got a little bit left.
What a silly little man. A silly man. Silly, silly little man.
I won't let another person dull my light again. I won't make myself smaller. I never want fear to hold me back. It's been an incredibly difficult breakup, but I'm grateful for my friends and family who have been here to support me. Thank you to this community and everyone who left kind comments to encourage me to reevaluate the relationship. Sending love to anyone who is in a similar situation or going through a breakup. And edit, thank you everyone. And that is the end of that story.
Thank you, everyone.
To all a good night.
Hello, everyone.
Boyfriend convinced me to adopt kittens, but won't help me at all with them.
They're your kittens because they're cute like you.
I, 28 female, adopted 2 kittens at the beginning of the month. They were sick and it was a real struggle while they were on antibiotics. I got them healthy and then I experienced the full kitten crazies. I'm sure I'll get crap on for this decision, but having never owned cats before, I like them, just never owned them or been around kittens, I decided it wasn't really a good fit for me and I returned them to the No Unalive shelter, where I adopted them. In total, I had them for 20 days. By the way, this comes from Throwaway6895 and Throwaway Yeah. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, the adoption staff were nice about it and suggested that I take some time and think about it, but maybe consider adopting an older cat. I really do not want to debate the moral implications of returning or not returning pets. I did not think I was that kind of person who would return a pet, but I guess I am. The cats are super sweet and adorable, and they did not do anything wrong. I thought the company would help with my depression and anxiety, but it kind of made it worse, and I do not know if it was just an initial panic on my part or what, but I felt that since I had been on the fence about returning them, it was best to just give them back and give them a good shot at a loving home before they're older.
I mean, how many cats did you adopt?
2. Why did you?
Okay.
I don't know.
Hey, I don't see anything wrong with this personally. I see nothing wrong with you adopted animals from an ethical shelter, and after 3 weeks you were like, I don't know, I just don't think I can do this, and so you brought them back to the same shelter. I don't see anything wrong with that.
I think that is a good. I think that is a good decision for OP because she couldn't handle it, and I think that if you can't handle the pets, like, do not keep them. But just in general, I think before we are adopting animals, just doing a lot of research about what that, and you never know. Obviously,
It
she
feels
thought
like it was an impulsive thing. And
yes,
it's
which is my point.
It's like, maybe it'll help my depression and anxiety, and it's
Which,
like, nah, it didn't. I've heard it does.
Yeah.
It didn't help me.
I think in this case, it was probably the right decision for her and the cats. However, in the future, anyone who's thinking about adopting pets, let's really look into that. And maybe you can, maybe if fostering is not the best decision, you can do like dog sitting. There's a lot of apps and stuff, or pet sitting, that will let you do that. And you can get paid for it too. So I had told my boyfriend, 30 male, who I had been with for 2 years and who lives about 2 hours away from me, that I was planning to return the cats. He told me they were my pets, so it was my decision. I took them back last Friday afternoon. He came in town that night to stay for the weekend, and as soon as he arrived, he asked where the cats were. I told him I took them back, and he was really weird and cold toward me the rest of the night. I mean, I kind of deserve it.
No, you don't.
I will also go ahead and mention here that I was feeling really sad and guilty about returning them, and he definitely made me feel worse about my decision.
Boo.
The next morning, I woke up and he said we needed to go get the cats and that he would take them.
Okay.
I do not know why I agreed to help get them back, probably because I still feel sad and guilty. So we went to the shelter as soon as it opened and explained the situation. One of the cats already had a hold, and another couple was going to adopt her. I was crying and explaining that it was a mistake returning the cats, that I wanted them back.
No, that's
Why? See,
why.
okay, now I think you're kind of becoming a little bit of the a-hole.
No, it's your boyfriend's got hooks in your brain, and you're
Yes.
sad and guilty, and you feel like you've done something wrong now. And
Yeah,
I don't
like your
think you
boyfriend is
really
the
want the
a-hole,
cats
for
back.
sure.
I think you want to make your boyfriend appeased.
The couple agreed to pick a different cat so we could get both cats back. I essentially readopted them and brought them back to my apartment. I had to take the GRE that afternoon, so I took a nap because I was emotionally and mentally exhausted from that morning. Also, my boyfriend at this point started talking about joint custody of the cats.
Now, hold on now.
No.
You said you were going to adopt the cats.
I took the GRE and did not do as well as I wanted, but whatever. I went back to my apartment and, not proud of this, blamed my boyfriend for me not doing well. This basically started a huge fight, the gist of which boiled down to me being a terrible person because I cared more about my test than about the two cats staying together and having a good home. I will probably not make it through a PhD program because I quit when things get hard. I ended up apologizing over and over and agreeing with him that getting the cats was the right thing to do. It feels like you're just kind of being bulldozed in all of these decisions. He also apologized for what he said about the PhD program, but said that he was actually not sure if I would finish a program if I started it. He went back home on Sunday, and I agreed to keep the cats for the week and sort out their next vet appointment and their flea and heartworm medications. No. This is no. You give the cats to him, and you say, "Hey, you wanted these cats. You had me go back and get them. I was pretty clear. I cannot take care of the cats, so they are going to be your cats. They're going to live at your house, not mine."
The relationship might not be very healthy if this is just like standard.
Over the next few days, I got super angry. I still cannot identify why exactly I am so angry.
I think we can.
Yep. But there are some things about the whole situation that just feel wrong to me. I told him on Wednesday that I didn't want joint custody and that the cats should be his. It turned into another huge fight. Neither of you guys want these cats.
It's what he said he wanted.
I know, but neither of you want them. What is this? At this point, he started talking about how I cannot handle the real world. He's tired of always cleaning up my mistakes, how he's not better off now than he was 2 years ago when we started dating. He's not getting anything out of the relationship, etc. At this point, I am super hurt by all the things he's said. It is clearly escalated to more than just the cats. Maybe I was in the wrong by returning the cats. He definitely believes he has the moral high ground, and maybe he does. I don't know.
He really doesn't.
He doesn't. I am supposed to go to his place this weekend and bring him the cats. I don't know if he's planning to break up with me or not. It would be good. I do not know if I should break up with him. I also don't know if I want to give him the cats after all. I feel pretty crazy. It's been a super emotional and terrible week. Am I being crazy and blowing things out of proportion? I also generally feel like a terrible person, and the events that have unfolded are my fault, and I brought this on myself. My boyfriend has also made several big career decisions to stay near me, turned down several good opportunities, and I feel like I've been fairly chaotic in my decision making and have not made any similar sacrifices for him. And there is an update. I don't think we should be in this relationship. It doesn't seem like it's beneficial for either of you.
I need a breakup date right now.
Doesn't seem like y'all are growing on either end. Update. I recently moved to a new state with my boyfriend because I started PhD school. He moved with me back to the area he's from, actually, and we've been living together since July. It's been rough. What happened to the cats?
No way. It's been rough?
What happened to the cats?
No way.
Where are the cats? When we first moved into our apartment, I did almost all of the unpacking since he was working full-time, and I hadn't started school yet. There are still a few boxes lying around containing some of his odds and ends. I did not unpack those because I wasn't sure where he wanted them.
Let me guess, that's going to be a moral failing on your part.
He has still not dealt with them, and they're currently stacked under his computer desk. I unpacked and set up all his other stuff, including his clothing, desk, etc. In October, my parents wanted to come and visit over my fall break. My boyfriend was not very happy that they wanted to stay in our guest room and computer room, but he acquiesced after I asked multiple times. I really needed a yes or no if they could stay with us so they could book a hotel if they needed to. In preparation for their visit, I did a lot of cleaning. The apartment had not really been clean since we moved in, and I did a first round deep cleaning. It was kind of gross when we moved in. My boyfriend did not help at all. Granted, I have a more flexible schedule, but for part of the time he sat in the living room playing video games while I cleaned. This is actually how those boxes of his ended up under his desk. I needed a place to tuck away his clutter. 2 or 3 weeks later, our bathroom was getting pretty gross with growing mold in the shower. I asked him if he would help me clean it over the weekend, and he told me no, I could do it. It's not like it takes very long, and I should do the things I care about, and he would do the thing he cares about.
Buddy, you don't care about mold in the bathroom?
You say, I don't care if the house is disgusting.
I love mold. Mold makes me strong. I love it. Give me a big spoonful in the morning. It's my supplement.
This sparked a fight where he said he did other things around the apartment, like cooking. That's true, he does cook. But he cooks meat. Meat is not a balanced meal for me, so I still cook veggies for myself. I'm sorry, he just cooks meat?
All he does is cook slabs of beef.
He just cooks steak? Every night he's just like, I made you a steak. And he's like, and? He's like, steak and? What do you mean?
Steak and steak.
Does he only eat steak? Who is this guy? His division of labor, we only do the things we care about, is crappy. He did end up wiping the mold in the shower with a washcloth and leaving it on the side of the bathtub for a week until I finally dealt with it. Sigh.
Yeah.
You guys should not be living together if he can't. I wonder what his apartment was like before they lived
Moldy.
together.
Probably very moldy.
Sometime later, I asked if he could start wiping his pee off the toilet seat when it dripped. Are you dating a toddler?
Goo goo gaga.
He sulked for a day and didn't really talk to me, and then in a sort of joking, but it's not funny way, kept saying, you don't love me enough to wipe my pee. I tried to bring up the we only do things we care about issue. A few weeks after all of this, I told him I was having some doubts. He immediately asked me if I was moving out. I was not prepared for that escalation, so I tried to back up and explain that by his logic, what if we have a house next year? He wants to buy one, and he doesn't care about yard maintenance?
For God's sakes, don't buy a house with this guy. Don't live with this guy another day. Be done with this man.
Dude can't even get rid of mold in an apartment. You think that he's going to get rid of any like issues in a house that he has to take care of fully?
None of this is going to get better. It's going to get worse.
Would that mean I'm responsible for both all of the cleaning and all of the yard maintenance? I would not have time to do all of that because of PhD school. His solution was that we should just keep renting the apartment. And then I asked, what if we have kids? And he doesn't care about changing poopy diapers? When I brought up kids, he told me, I'm not the one who bails on my responsibilities. You just don't even start your responsibilities, dude. He was referencing a fight we had last year. For the sake of brevity, I will not get into it here, but I posted under a different throwaway about the kittens. So that shut the whole thing down, and our division of labor is still, we only do things we care about. It's not working for me, and he was not receptive to the feedback I tried to give him about my doubts.
Just start telling him, like, well, I don't care about that. If he's
Yeah.
like, why are the dishes dirty? I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Oops, I guess you care about it more than me.
Or, alternatively, break up.
Yeah, or just do that.
It is also not really about the cleaning per se. I know we could hire a housekeeper, but I don't think that would fix the root of my issue. It wouldn't. I cannot quite pinpoint what my issue is.
It's your boyfriend!
If I were to hazard a guess, I'd say it's your boyfriend. But there is something here that is causing me to question the relationship. Your boyfriend.
Oh my God, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I think it's your boyfriend. I found a new therapist in my area, and I'm planning to work on this with her. I would like for him to come as well, but I do not think he would be willing. I'm wondering what others think about this situation. If anyone has been in a similar situation, what did you do? Is there some example language I could incorporate next time I bring this up? I'm also a little scared to bring it up without having a solid contingency plan in case it goes straight to moving out again. I mean, at this point, if I moved out, at least me and the cats... Oh, they still have the cats!
They still have the cats. The cats are still here.
Guys, the cats are okay. Except they're living in a moldy house.
They got mold in the bathroom, but the cat's okay.
At least me and the cats could live in a clean environment, and I would not feel like it's made. As a final note, I by no means need my home to be an A+ on the cleaning scale. I can handle some mess, but this has been downright gross. And there is a second update, but geez Louise. Jump him.
Yeah, your home will be cleaner when you get rid of this stinky man stinking everything up. Stanking it.
I ended things a little over a month ago.
Yes!
and things have been simultaneously terrible and amazing. I asked him if he would be willing to go to therapy with me, and he refused. He told me when we first started dating that he would never go to therapy, and you still dated him? And I assumed he'd changed his mind at some point because he would care enough about me and our relationship to work through the hard things in counseling. We see this all the time on the sub, but really, when people tell you who they are, believe them. And I think that you should believe that we've got more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
You better believe it.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
It's gonna be more awesome than terrible the longer time goes on.
Yeah. Refusing to go to therapy really left me with the two choices of staying and having nothing change and being unhappy, or leaving. Sounds pretty good. I opted to leave even though it was scary and so hard. The initial heartbreak is starting to fade and I'm working on rediscovering myself. I know that I did the right thing for myself, but it was also the hard thing. I kept this account around and I'm posting this update because I wanted to thank this community and the individuals who offered their help. I know I didn't comment on anything in my original post, but it was very helpful to have advice. And that is the end of that story. OP's left and she still has the cats, and it seems like everyone's in a better situation.
I trusted my boyfriend with my savings, and he spent it behind my back.
Better be for like a boat or something.
Yeah, you better have bought you a boat. My boyfriend, 19, and I, 18, do not have any shared bank accounts, and I do not have a savings account yet. So when I got my last paycheck before we moved in with his family, I asked if he could store about 250 pounds of it in his savings account until Christmas, just in case I don't get a job by then. That way, I'll have spending money for people's presents. By the way, this comes from user Fit Tumbleweed 4549. Ooh, that tumbleweed lifts. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily. We don't know everything. Freaking what? We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, at the time, he had about 700 pounds in debt on multiple different credit cards, but was about to start a well-paying job where he would get paid weekly and pay off his debts in no time. This was all about 4 weeks ago. The other day, I had the idea that I wanted to invest some money into reselling only 100 pounds of the 250 I had in his savings account. So if it all went wrong, I had not spent everything I had. I kept asking him to send me the money so I could do it, but he kept putting it off, saying, we'd do it later, or saying that I should leave it to him to look for the best items to resell, since he knows more about it, but failing to do it every single time. I got impatient and fed up with waiting, and since Christmas is around the corner, I said I want him to send me my money now, as it is getting too close to Christmas, and I need to start buying gifts. He kept saying things like, just use my credit card and I'll transfer it later, or I'll do it later, until it was painfully obvious, and I said to him that if he had spent my money, he just needed to tell me. I said something along those lines, and that I was not going to be mad. The thing is, his older brother, who he has quite a close relationship with, is struggling in a relationship with a woman who is very controlling and manipulative when it comes to money, and it has led us to have conversations about how we might run into these problems in the future and how we would handle them. We both said that the money we work for is our own, unless we mutually decide otherwise, no doubt about it. It also put a bit of pressure on me, as I felt like if I have a problem with it, I'll be compared to his brother's partner. He admitted that he had spent 150 pounds of my own money to pay off debts. He did not once ask me at all. He just did it. He took it upon himself to spend my money that I worked for and trusted him with. Spent it even though he would be able to do that with his own money within the next 2 weeks, and just waited until the very last minute for me to find out by myself. I told him it was okay, but just to ask me next time. I'm absolutely fine with helping him out, but not when he doesn't tell me about it. For context, I am a girl from a very poor family who has never had more than 500 euros to my name. Not euros, pounds, 500 pounds, 500 pounds to my name. He has a successful family and is a successful guy himself with a steady job and lots of support. I need the money way more than he ever has. I would understand more if he was jobless, and would be for the foreseeable future, but he was literally just about to start working and would have been able to pay off debts in no time. He had not even started to be reminded by any of the banks about his debts. Since it happened, I have felt quite hurt and betrayed. I've already told him that I understand and everything, but I feel like my reaction made it seem like he can do it again in the future and get away with it, and it has definitely knocked my trust a bunch. He keeps telling me to just buy things on his credit card and still will not send me the money I have left in the savings account. But I do not want to buy things on his credit card. I want my own money in my bank account. I guess what I'm asking is how I can bring this up in a conversation without sounding controlling. I feel like every move I make will be compared to his brother's partner, and I would hate that because she is a horrible person. But he cannot just get away with it. I have no idea what to do. I want to regain trust again and be able to speak about money openly. Any advice, please? And we have some comments here, but do you have any immediate advice for our OP here, Savannah?
I mean, I feel like just have the conversation. You know, there's no other way about it. Like, you can't control how he's going to react and how he feels. And if he compares it, you know, then that's on him. Like, it's not so much like, you know, what you do. You can say something anyway and people will be like, oh, you know, like, that reminds me of this person or whatever. Like, but you can't really control that.
And if he's going to try to tell you that you're controlling, you go like, I'm not controlling. You stole my money from me and I trusted you to look after it.
That's the other thing is like, it wasn't your money to begin with. And so if you bring it up saying like, hey, I have a problem with you, like taking my money and using it without any conversation about that. So I think that you are in the right to, you know, you have the right to say something because it's your money.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going to say.
And I stand behind that. And there are some more comments. Comment number 1. First of all, never start off with, you can tell me, I won't be mad, if you know he did it. You have to straight up tell him, if you did this, you need to tell me, because if I find out you're lying to me, that's going to be an even bigger issue. Still, it's not going to sound controlling, and you can't control how other people perceive you. If this turns into comparing you to his brother's girl, then it is what it is. You can't let him walk all over you like that.
Facts.
Comment number 2, open your own account. That's also, I totally forgot that I was going to say that. You're 18. You can just open your own bank account.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
You did not have to give him that money for him to put in his account. You could just open your own bank account.
Yeah, because she also said that she didn't want to share it. Like, that was the whole thing. It's like, I don't want to share it. I don't want to do this, you know, then I don't have control. Like, you do have control of your money, but then also you don't because it's in his account, you know?
And a lot of times when you're that age, like, you know, I know that sometimes there's, like, fees associated with, like, opening accounts and stuff, but, like, I think they can, like, waive stuff or, like, reduce stuff for, like, people who are, like, 18 or, like, starting school or, like, it really depends. I don't know.
Or just put all the money under your mattress.
Comment 2, open your own account. Until you are married, combined finances are not a thing. If he has credit card debt, I wouldn't let him manage your money. He didn't pay off debt. He still owes you instead of a bank. If you gift him, he doesn't have to pay you back. Then it's paid off. Frankly, he stole from you. He is lying about it, and it's not cool. You seem way chiller than I would be. Comment 3 says, please don't be so desperate that you stay with someone who stole from you. Why haven't you opened your own account yet? You are being naive if you think that someone who's already this deep in debt and stole from you isn't going to do more bad things. But by the way, something that does make sense is that you can listen to more full episodes of stories just like this one on your favorite podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to stories. Just search OK Storytime. And you've got almost 3 months worth of stories to listen to. I'm talking 3 months back to back to back. Day over day. Hour over hour. Anyway, we got a little bit more story here. Any thoughts to finish us off, Savannah?
I mean, I feel like it's just like, you know, it's one thing that he is like not handling his own money, right? But now he's not handling your money correctly. So that's like a big no-no, because that could be not only stressful for like you, but also stressful on the relationship. And then also on him, like there's like no good thing that he's doing here. And it kind of stresses me out, because not that like money for me isn't like, that big of an issue. I never think of it, even if I have nothing, I'm like, whatever, I'll get some,
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I wouldn't trust someone who's already in debt with my money because that just seems like they're going to take advantage of it,
I agree. I think you're kind of in a position right now, OP, where maybe the slope is a little slippery. I know you say you're moving in with him and his family, so maybe you don't have the ability to leave him and uproot yourself right now. But I would certainly be like, all right, that is the first and only warning for thievery. And I'd be keeping my eyes open. And as soon as he is a thief from me again, it's over. I'm making an exit plan. I'm developing a strategy to free myself from his influence,
Deception.
from his lies and deceits. Okay, there's another edit here to finish it off. Thank you all so much for all the kind words and advice. I've read all your comments, and I've decided that once I get my money back, which will be before the end of this month, I will sit down and talk to him about it. I'm still hurt and upset by it, but this is the first untrustworthy thing he has ever done, and our relationship in every other aspect is everything I could have asked for. Sorry to disappoint everyone who asked me to leave. With that being said, if we have this conversation and he does not take it upon himself to apologize and do what is right, which is send me everything he owes me, I've already made up my mind that I will be moving back home, getting my old job back, and moving on. Good. Trust is a huge deal for me, but also so are second chances. Thanks, guys. Smiley face, little bitty heart. And that is the end of that story.